All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's 8 p.m. Foley Family Halloween. It is Mick's auction hour. Mick.
Believe this? Yeah. You know what's even more exciting? People are wondering why I'm wearing the mask, because I'd like to introduce the newest tag team sensation, the Men. Man Scout, Mankind. We borrow Regal's old entrance music. It goes, they are men, such men.
Well, they got that face swap now. They can just whip our faces on Regal's face doing manly stuff, because none of us can do manly stuff. I can't do any manly stuff either. I mean, just whip our faces out.
Noelle, can you grab me the wig I was trying to put on before? The funny thing is, it's Halloween, right?
Yes,
I've been wearing this. Tom Savini, the same guy who did the Bray Wyatt mask, original Friday the 13th, made up. These are the coolest COVID masks ever, right? They got the filter in there, so I've been wearing it all day, and I think I'm looking cool. And then in an attempt to do this thing right, the auction, I've got the Mankind mask, and I use these for my Cameo videos. I'm not trying to get a plug-in for my Cameo videos, even though they're at cameo.com/Mick Foley. But when I do Mankind, I have the camera in real close, so it looks like Mankind. You can't be Mankind without long hair.
No, yeah.
So now I try to do this so I look as much like the character as I can using a wig, and I look awful. And my comment was like, if somebody showed up trick-or-treating as me, looking this bad, it would be the worst Mankind costume, and I am the real... Here it is. Let me have this. Actually, this is better than the one I was wearing, so look at this. It just looks foolish, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a parody.
We got a Halloween mask. It's like all leather and vinyl. That looks like that.
So anyway, I'm going to take this bad boy off, and I think that's for sale too. But I'm really excited to be here. I've been here for what? 10 hours? 8 hours already?
Yeah, it'd be about 10 hours.
And time's just kind of flying by. I've been having fun stopping in and doing different characters, and now we're down to where we're doing this auction, and there's some good items here, right?
Mick, these are some fantastic items. These are some of the best ones that I've seen. As far as a full collection, best full collection that I've ever seen come through the
Because
doors.
I ran into a little treasure trove. I was moving a lot of stuff, and I ran into stuff I didn't even know I had. Like the
well, where do you want to start first?
Where should we start?
You tell me. This is your career.
Let's go in chronological order. So we're gonna throw that over there. This is the second pair of boots I ever owned. This is kind of in conjunction, same time era.
You want to put them together?
Yeah, put them together.
Yeah, I'll take care of them.
Well, we'll do them as two different items.
Okay.
But I know when Nature Boy Ric Flair was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, he mentioned that he probably wore a new pair of boots every other week. And I had 5 pairs of boots in my entire career. So there's a lot of history. There's these I got, the second pair, I probably got them in 87. So I worked the indies, every indie show I did. I wore them to Memphis when I got my first full-time job. Went to World Class Championship Wrestling, where I started making a name for myself. Continental Championship Wrestling, and then I think I was still wearing them into my first WCW run when I broke down and got another pair of boots. So these bad boys have seen a lot of history. I thought they were gone for good. It turns out WWE had them in their warehouse, and I asked for them back. Not for purely sentimental reasons, but for profit motives. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, hopefully make you a very large profit on these boots. But I got to ask you, and this is going to be the dumbest question that anybody's going to ask you about these boots. Are these the boots you possibly could have wore when you wrestled Eric Emery in that loser leave town match? Where
of course they were. Of course they were. A 7-second match. And after all these years, I get a message like, hey, Eric Emery would like to talk to you. And Eric he was hurt for me. It was in my book about how, I was hurt because I wanted to go and have this great barn burner of a final match. And then I get I have a backslide in 7 seconds. The fans didn't mind. Like, they were chanting, hit the road, Jack. Like, they probably got more out of that than if I had a classic match. I was like, Eric, that was, 25 years ago? Like, you gave me the best push. You let me call the big matches. You let me work on my promos. Like, you did so much for me. If we had one match that wasn't what I wanted it to be, that's minor compared to everything that did go well for me in World Class. So, yeah, this would have been... my formative years, some really important boots. And this would have probably been the singlet I was wearing. The Butcher singlet that I went with a Tarzan singlet at the very beginning, had the shirt off for my 5 or 6 WWE match. I think only 2 WWE matches. Then I had dislocated my jaw against the British Bulldogs, so I couldn't close my mouth the next night against the Killer Bees. I had a concussion, and despite the fact I had a concussion, my mouth wouldn't close, so I got my teeth knocked in, but by golly, I knew enough to pull up my pants over my love handles. And we've all been there in wrestling where you're not as focused on the match as you should be because you're worried about your attire. And after that, I went with this singlet until I outgrew it, some years later. So a lot of wear on the singlet, a lot of wear on the boots, as you can see. And a lot of people don't know the story. I just told it today. I can't remember who I told it to.
You told it to me.
To you. Sorry.
You told me. And
sorry,
please tell. But
So,
before you do, let's check on the bids on the boots. Where are we at on the bids right now,
I
Michael?
think we're just starting, but $400 to Adam Gilmore is the current high bid.
All right, Adam, okay.
Well, tell me the story about this boots, because this is the best story I think you told me.
So I graduate from these, and then I go to a beige with a black trim to be cactus. I think that's kind of like got a desert look to it. And Ted Petty in '94. So I've done my first WCW run, 91 through '94. I see Ted. Ted and I had wrestled each other a lot in the Indies, and Ted was a Cheetah Kid. At the time, early '90s, he was one of the greatest flying wrestlers on the scene. He later went on to be Rocco Rock and had the brawling style. But Ted was doing all kinds of stuff way before his time, and he was like, Jack. He always called me Jack. Jack, I got these boots from Mexico. They don't fit me right. I'll let them go for $100. They got Ted Petty, the Cheetah Kid. They're kind of leopard, not cheetah. Maybe they were cheetah. I don't know. And that's where the Cactus Jack leopard skin boots come from. Not that it made any sense with the character, but Ted let them go for a cheap price, and so I picked them up and kind of made them my own.
It made sense as soon as I saw them. Like, oh, that makes total sense. I
Yeah.
remember those boots, and I remember those very specifically. Like they really stand out. But now I get like the whole story. Like they were Cheetah Kids originally. And it's just like all the dots connected in my head. You finally that one thing that wasn't connecting in my mind finally made sense today.
Exactly. So the singlet, like I said, a lot of history on this bad boy. You can see the wear and tear where I learned to put Velcro on the tights so that they would stick to the singlet, again, to avoid the slippage. Because you really want to be in the zone when you're working. You don't want to be worried about how you look. You want to be so caught up in the moment that you don't care. One of the biggest attributes, I think, that I had in my WrestleMania match with Edge is that I was so caught up in the match that I didn't even realize my Fruit of the Looms, like 4 inches of underwear, was showing through most of that match. I was just so caught up in the action that it never dawned on me to pull up my sweats. But that was a problem I had, and so you can see all the wear and tear here where the Velcro was working on the singlet. So that's another item here. And you take it away, Man Scout.
Okay. Well, we're working on the boots right now. Where we're in the boots right now, Mike.
$650 with Matt Kuhn. Tim Jameson was the other high bid.
All right.
I think we're still going back and forth.
Okay, and as a reminder, guys, with these auctions, the way we do it is if you get people that are going back and forth, the sooner you let us know that you're out, the sooner we can put on a 6-second clock, then a 30-second clock, then a 10-second basketball count. But if you're in, do better than the highest bid and work our way through. We do have a lot of auction items, so the faster we get to a point that it's getting too rich for your blood, let us know. And then you're going to be invoiced immediately after you win that auction item. Pay that invoice immediately, and if you want something personally inscribed or signed on it or a particular place, once you pay for that invoice, we'll gladly do that for you. But you got to pay that invoice. What's your invoice? And it'll be in your email as soon as you win that auction item. And the thing we're auctioning off right now are the early year boots right here from Mick Foley. So you said you had these in Memphis, and Continental, and what are some other like other matches that people might remember you in these boots?
Well, anything I did in World Class, I'd have to go back and see when I got the next pair. I don't want to promise people that they were my boots in World Class. You can see I took up advertising on the soles of my feet. Dine at Joe's, because these boots saw a lot of airtime.
A lot of wear and tear on the back end. There's a lot of backward movement, not a lot of forward movement.
Because you had to do the Memphis shuffle. Like you had, if you were a heel, you had to do the hold on a second. Mm-hmm. I fought that tooth and nail. I was like, not every heel should have to be the begging heel. Like, wow, Cactus, heels have to cheat. And so I did what I had to do to get through there. And then in World Class, I started really finding my way. Although I learned every day that I was in Memphis. In retrospect, it was a great learning experience. But yeah, I was it wasn't a guy who had 4 or 5 different pairs who wore them every single match for probably 3 years.
Now, like, did you like? Everybody puts their boots in their bag a little differently.
Yeah.
What was your go-to? Like I always stack them like this. Like when I put them in the bag, I always like to put them like this.
Man Scout,
and sit there.
do I strike you as the type of guy who gave one single solitary outfit about how I stored my boots?
Oh, I took you as someone who has severe OCD. Maybe I was looking in a mirror earlier. Never mind. So these were just thrown in the bag?
They were thrown in the bag. Like, look, when you get to a certain point, people start cutting you slack about your the way your attire. And there were nights when I forgot to take my gear out of my bag to air them out, and where I may have been a little ripe that next day, and people cut me slack because I was pretty well thought of and I worked hard. I remember there's been a few times where Kane definitely did not air out his gear, and if it had been anybody but Kane, they would have heard it. Trust me, Kane didn't hear it from anybody. People may have thought it, but they never said it. Going back to, can I call up my daughter for a little special, come on, hot tag. All right, I think she knows. We were talking about it earlier. My daughter, very prolific on social media. This is Noelle Foley. She just did an hour here. Yeah, want to sit in here? Okay.
I don't know if I'll fit in the camera.
All right, I'll
Am
slide
I
over.
in?
I'll slide over. We'll make room for you.
Snuggle.
We'll snuggle here.
So I'm watching Raw, and Noelle is, like I said, very prolific on social media. And I see on my phone a tweet that reads, "These days, when I see Kane," this is corporate Kane, interfering in every other match on Raw, I just feel so sad. And 3 minutes later, there was another tweet about Kane coming from Noelle that said,
My dad just told me that I can't say anything bad about Kane as long as I live in this house.
bingo, there you go.
Well, Dad, you know what? That tweet actually did amazing. It got so many likes, so that means people agreed with me.
People
Because
did
if you
agree with you.
remember, Kane would interfere in every match.
Get her off the air. Cut her mic.
Guess what? We're
Don't
not
you-
in our house
Don't
anymore.
you? Oh, no, darn it. Get her away from me. I have to agree. There was a great tweet. Not that yours wasn't great, but it said, "Corporate Kane equals golfing Alice Cooper." It's just not the way you want to see that guy. Like, all right, we accept that Alice Cooper plays golf, but that's not who we want to see when we're on stage. We accept that Glenn Jacobs is one of the wisest, kindest men outside the ring.
You
but
did
that's-
say he's probably the smartest man you've ever met,
Yeah,
right?
he really,
Really,
yeah.
all the wrestlers.
Oh, he's just so well read. I thought he had a career in public service well before he started becoming the mayor. But yeah, and I just was like, hey, I'm telling you, that's his future, and you don't want to debate the guy. And somebody said, why? I go, because he's 6'8", he's 300 pounds, he's got that commanding voice, and he knows everything. Like he's always has a thick tome. It was never a novel or anything fluffy. There's never like a Glenn Jacobs beach read. It was always something substantial. So I think being the mayor is just the next step. Tony Hunter's here. Tony's worked with him 100 times, right? This guy can do anything he wants, right? Yeah. So he's a great guy. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Glenn Jacobs.
No,
we're here to sell shoes.
Well, speaking of
Well, you
substantial,
brought me in here to talk
yeah,
about
hit the
him.
bricks,
Hit
Noelle.
the bricks?
Yeah, hit the
Right.
bricks.
let's see if the bids are substantial right now. Where are they at, Michael?
Currently at $900, and we're still waiting
Whoa.
on some people that were right below there.
Now, do we go one item at a time, or do we introduce
One
other?
item,
Okay.
one item at a
Okay.
time, and then we fill time in between.
All right, there you go. This is your world. I'm just a squirrel.
Listen, I'm the captain now.
I have just been
I am the
served. Okay.
But no. And as a reminder, guys, the quicker you say you're out, the quicker we can get to the next item. So it just lets you know about that. We're up to like about $900. You said, Michael, anybody that
Yeah,
needs
if
to
you
get
wanna
out?
just put it on a 60-second just to make people flush them out.
Okay, 60-second clock right now. Who's at the top bid right now, Michael?
Currently, 900 is at, make sure I got it right,
$900.
Tim Jameson.
Tim Jameson right now for $900. Unless somebody else comes in the next 60 seconds, then 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds.
If we can't get $1,000 for Cactus Jack boots, I'm storming out of this building.
And we got so many more items to get to. Come on, we can't do that, guys. But did you pay $900 for these boots?
No, but you probably pay $300.
Yeah.
I remember being at an auction in 1990, And this is the first time John Arizzi was doing his weekend of champions, and Billy Superstar Graham was auctioning boots that he defeated. I think it was the boots he was wearing when he defeated Bruno for the title.
Oh, wow.
And they were going for like $250, and I stood up and I was like, they cost more than that to buy. And it's not a matter of you buying new boots, you're buying boots that have history in them. And so, we found with a lot of stuff that the wrestlers let go over the years, that they're worth, sometimes 10 times more than what you let it go for. Some of the collectors willing to pay big money, because you can't put a price on happiness. If it
Absolutely.
makes somebody happy. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but WWE's got a great reality show coming up where they try to track. Maybe this is a scoop. Do we know about this? Is it?
Oh, I know about this
Yeah.
because came through this office. So.
Yeah, and sometimes these guys, they don't want to deal with this stuff no matter what price you're being offered, because it just becomes part of them, and it's a huge collector's thing, and so I would think that this might be one of those items that brings a lot of joy to somebody.
Okay, we'll see where we're at.
Currently at $1,000 with Dan Sky. There's 2 other bidders that came in over 900. They still haven't said they're out, so I think we still got some.
Okay, we still got some traction on these boots, even though the boots themselves have
Don't
very
have any
little
traction. Yeah, that's right.
See,
Good stuff.
see right there.
Jake's
Yeah.
been on the road with me, brother. 2-man show.
That's right.
They said Jake Manning's going to be picking up. I was like, I've never heard of Jake Manning in my life. And he pulls up. I said, Man Scout? So that's the world we live in, where you've known some people for 20 years. I remember when I was working with TNA, and they'd be like calling up people, can we hear from, you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you AJ Styles' real name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd look at guys I've known for 10 years like, is that your real name? Like, yeah, I don't know these things. So Jake Manning, which might not even be your real.
It's not.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
not.
all
See,
right.
because my real last name is too difficult to say.
Okay.
It's Feuerbach.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's impossible to say, and I just I couldn't stand. There's no way I could have a West Virginia ring announcer pronounce that properly.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, there's no way at an open mic they're going to get that correctly, so I'm just going to just say Manning. Everybody knows Manning.
like that, okay.
Hayden, Eli. Let's make it easy for everybody else. Which to my father hates it because he hates the surname, because he's like, I worked so hard for you for our family name, and you just
I can
throw it in the
understand
trash.
that. Yeah, I can understand that.
So,
Okay.
but these boots will not go in the trash. I'm sure they're probably.
So let's put it on 30 seconds because I think people are enjoying. Oh, there it's already 10:50 from Anthony Ruggiero.
They're
We're still
enjoying the
waiting for-
banter, huh? Less
They
banter.
like the banter.
Can we
They
go
like
over
the
9
option.
p.m. if we need to?
Guys,
Oh, yeah.
we can go as long as we need to. But guys, we got several items here. It's not like we're going to do these boots and the conversation's over. We
Yeah.
got great items.
Yeah, we
today.
got great items. We're going to be here all night. And if we need to extend the auction hour, we will, because you brought such great items. We want to give everybody an opportunity to bid and own these items, because Mick was kind enough to bring them here, and we want to ship them off to you guys and put a whole bunch of money in Mick's pocket and other places as well. So
I do have 2 items here that are going to good causes.
absolutely, we want to get to those for sure.
Yeah. Should I mention the causes just so people have them in their head? Can
Yes,
I?
absolutely.
We've got one, which is this great storybook from the Peanut Butter Falcon movie. It was given to me like 6 years ago, well before they even had funding for the movie. And this gone on to be a big success, but at the time it was a script, and you can see it's handwritten by the director's storyboards, test stills, and so everything that we make is going to go to Special Olympics. And then if you could hand me the Hitman book.
Absolutely.
I hate to part with this because it's signed to me from Bret Hitman Hart. It says, to Mick, thanks for being a real friend. And we were just discussing that one wrestler, Josh, who broke both his legs in that hideous video. And Chris Jericho has donated a couple $1,000s, and I thought, you know what, I can't sell this for profit, but I think Bret would understand if we're trying to pay the bills for one of the guys who got hurt in the ring. He's looking at possible amputation. Like, it's really, really bad. And so this is a one-of-a-kind item that I've never parted with something that somebody's given me like this. And so it's really cool. The Bret Hart book is great, and it's something he signed to me, and so 100% of that will be going to Josh's GoFundMe. And the rest of it, Man Scout, pure, unadulterated profit.
For Christmas fun at the Foley House.
Foley Pizza
All right,
Fun.
right now the profit's at $1,200 with Tim Jameson. Waiting to hear if Anthony Ruggiero is in or out. Waiting to hear.
Dan
One-
Sky was in the mix there.
Dan Sky has not said he's out.
Okay, Dan
Anthony
Sky.
is now out. We're waiting for Dan Sky. Then we'll put this.
Okay. Dan Sky, let us know if you're in or you're out so we can settle up with this and get to the rest of these wonderful, fantastic items that Mick brought in here tonight. So, but these boots are just the tip of the iceberg that we're going to be discussing right here. Early era boots. Now, were these the boots you wore in UWF, or was that a little bit later on?
That would have been 1990. Herb Abrams.
Yes.
I can't tell you for sure.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody could Google it and watch me. I think by that time I had the beige.
I don't
boots.
think there's any cocaine on the sole, so it's definitely not UWF. I checked. I checked.
Man.
Nope, this is all drug free. All drug free. We're good to go.
All right, the two that we were waiting on said they're out. Tim Jamison, $1,200. Just put them on 30 seconds. Make sure there's no one
Tim
else.
Jamison, 30 seconds. And then we're gonna do this 10-second basketball count when that 30 seconds is up, and then we'll let the dust settle, and we'll give them to you, and then we're gonna move on to the next item right here. But Tim Jamison, way to kick it off already for the Foley auction hour. Got a lot of great items. Someone's going to profit, some to go for charity. It's going to be fantastic. And I think we're pretty close to that 10-second basketball count right now, Michael, if I'm not mistaken. For Tim Jamison, over $1,200.
Somebody could jump in with like 1,500, just steal it, right?
Just steal it. Absolutely. It's
Could
happened
happen.
before. And what we do is after we do the 10-second basketball count, we give it 30 seconds, and then we settle it. Because
Okay.
sometimes that happens. So,
Okay.
because the lag is real,
This
and
is exciting, man.
This is going to get exciting real too, because I'm going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Are we doing it, or are you just
5,
showing what you would be doing?
4, 3, 2,
Is this the real count?
1. This is it. That was the
Okay,
last count.
okay.
That was the real count.
Okay. I thought you were giving me an example of what. I'm glad to see my daughter's laughing. If you can still make your child pop at your bad humor, she's 26, you're doing something special.
Well, you've got some
right?
great humor, though. I've seen the stage so, Mick.
Oh, thank you.
You
Thanks.
work hard at
I
it.
do.
You work
Thanks,
very
man.
hard at it. I think Tim Jamison, we've settled on this. The dust is kind of clearing up right now.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that.
You're going to get all you auction winners, you're going to get an email, an invoice emailed right to you. We're going to need you to pay that invoice immediately before Mick ever leaves the building. And if you want to personalize, we'll gladly do it for you. If you're like, hey, have them inscribe on the inside,
Yeah,
a gold pen, black pen, however you want it. But you got to pay that invoice before we do any of that. But do you want to go to the singlet because we're talking about the before chronological, or you want to jump around? What are you feeling?
You
right
know,
now?
what do you think? Probably the most valuable item is the WrestleMania.
Yeah, that I've been talking.
WrestleMania
I've been
2000.
talking that one up.
You tell me the psychology here. Do you go with a jabroni item like the singlet, or do you go
you were
with a
kind
main
of
event?
You were kind of already talking about the singlet. What
Should I
kind
be referring to my own item as jabroni?
Not going to
Oh,
help the sales.
Oh, you sure?
I'm sure.
No, no.
I'm sure of that.
I meant that as a compliment, you know.
Let's go right to the WrestleMania. We got a lot of people in the room right now.
all
You got a
let's
lot?
go-
Okay, we'll go
let's
right to it.
this. This was Scott, this is a recent discovery. I thought this bad boy had been long gone.
Okay.
And I saw it in a box of things, and I was like, I think this is my WrestleMania shirt. I went back, I compared to the rips, you know, when you got latissimus dorsi like this guy, a little flex, and bam, those stitches just give way. This was I was thinking about the red flannel, right? At the time I wore this, I was not known primarily for the red flannel. I wore it the month before against Triple H in the cell match. I think it was No Way Out in Hartford, February of 2000. And then I became more and more known for the red flannel when I became the commissioner. But this seemed like a good choice. The blue and black, multicolored blue flannel.
As far as flannels go, yes, that's an excellent choice.
It's got the rips in it,
Yeah.
and it was at that time, I swear to you, I thought it would be the last match of my career. Just like I can swear to you, I thought the match with Triple H was going to be the last match of my career. But it was my last match for 4 years, and the last match of my full-time career. And I checked out the photos. There are plenty of photos of me wearing it. I believe it was the only time I wore it in a match, but it was my only official WrestleMania main event. And it's still pretty good. It smells pretty good for something that's been in storage for a long time. I'm really grateful I found it. And this bad boy could be in your collection if the price is right. There you go.
Absolutely. Like I said, WrestleMania ring-worn gear, WrestleMania main event gear, we're going to be auctioning off right now.
Well,
Not messing
hey,
around.
Listen, this strategy's worked before. The guy who just won your boots, Tim Jamison, who is a very high-end collector, started the bid off at 1,000.
Okay, good.
Not messing around.
Good.
Jumping right to 1,000. This is,
Respectable.
WrestleMania main event gear, guys. This is, I don't know if we're ever going to see that come through these doors again. So
Yeah, guys aren't really parting with that stuff, right?
no.
Or
Especially.
they did already, and it's in the hands of the item collector.
Okay.
And also, too, guys, time is running out for personalizations. We're shutting those off in about 5 minutes. For Mick Foley, he's been signing all the personalizations today, but your last chance for personalizations is coming up in 5 minutes. But, you know, we're not going to settle on this one in 5 minutes. I think this is going to go for quite some time. And I got to tell you, Mick, this is almost sentimental to me. If I didn't know this was going to go for a very large amount of money, I'd be bidding on it right now, because that time where you said that last match with Triple H,
Yeah.
and I remember on Raw they had I think it was a music video. Was it Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah. A little inside story here. They can only use a Sarah McLachlan once.
Yes.
So they used it the day after I retired, when Triple H beat me in the cell. And so I happened to, even though the match was over, the next day WWE had me at the Garden, because we were promoting a National Library Association poster that had me, The Rock, and China on it. So I was there to do a photo shoot with Rock and China, and Stephanie called me aside and she goes, Mick, we want you to see something. And she played me the video, and about 2/3 of the way of the video, I hear these. I look over, Stephanie McMahon's got tears pouring down her cheeks. So although she may have feigned hatred towards the hardcore legend, deep down, like, she really appreciated being part of that match, and everyone, honestly, myself included, thought I was gone for good. So that was a cool day. Yeah, that Sarah McLachlan, I think they had to pay a pretty penny for that, and they only used it once. If you ever find it again, they can't use that music, so they paid it the one time, and it was a great song.
Well, she wasn't the only one that cried.
The man scout.
I have to admit that I'll never forget. I had friends over, and it was one of the rare times that I had friends over when I watched wrestling, because I would watch it, but I had friends over.
You were fighting back tears?
I was. I'll never forget. My friend's girlfriend was looking at me like 2/3 of the way in. For whatever reason, 2/3 is the alchemy on that one.
Yeah.
And my best friend's girlfriend looked at me like, Jake, are you crying over wrestling? And I go, you don't even understand what's going on in my life right now. Like,
one of the most difficult things in my career is fighting off tears on my family love seat while watching the great Santini, when a tumor gets accidentally shot, when Red Pettis comes shooting at his dogs. Maybe that's too much info. We've only got a couple minutes here, but I was fighting it off. Like, that was one of the most hardcore thing for me, to fight off those tears. I was doing this and I sounded like Dale Doback when he's describing the beating at the hands of Chris Gardocki on the playground. I don't really want to take a picture. What are we up to? Are we over 1,000 now?
No, this
What? Son of a nutcracker!
this strategy's worked so far. It's he's still at 1,000, but wait. I didn't.
Whoa! Come to
we're way
Papa!
up. Yeah, we're way
I'm
up
gonna
there.
refresh then.
1,600 big ones?
Yeah.
All
Andrew
right.
Pena.
That's not bad, right? Yeah.
Andrew Pena.
Andrew
Thank you,
Pena,
Andra.
$1,600 is where we're at
Yes.
for the WrestleMania main event gear, WrestleMania flannel, right here. And Mick, tell me what it was like. Let's take a step back, because I think your matches with Triple H were just absolutely incredible. For whatever reason, there was chemistry between you two, and I think you were the guy that really kind of made Triple H that main event guy that he later became.
Well, what was great about that series of matches is that we both had somewhere we were looking to go through those matches. Triple H had already been a main event guy as DX, but as a singles guy, he might have needed that one last boost. And here I was, like 2 months earlier, I told Mr. McMahon I couldn't wrestle anymore. I mean, I was falling down. I remember doing the cactus clothesline where somebody caught my boot. I think it was Bob Holly, spun me, and I fell down. And I was really embarrassed. My knees were so shot, badly overweight. And I told Mr. McMahon I thought I needed to retire. He was talking to me about getting in better shape. I said, Vince, I can't remember where I live most of the time. He said, you just had your last match. And so I was embarrassed to go out that way. And then when Steve Austin hurt his neck, we talked it over. I'm going to put in a couple more months. And I wanted to go out up here. I mean, I was retiring in Vince's office down here. So Triple H and I both had somewhere we wanted to go, and we both elevated each other, which is kind of a lost art. It's really difficult to do. But we did pull it off, and we had that great in-ring chemistry. You know, the build-up was really good. And to this day, I think when I do that, I mean, I'm not usually a mark for. I mean, people can have judgments on that, but we're all marks for ourselves in some sense, or else we wouldn't be doing it. But I don't tend to think that the stuff I did was as good as other people do. But when I watched that promo in Chicago, where I come out as Mankind, I've got the blood stains from the week before, and I say Mankind's not going to be able to do this, but I know someone who can. And on one level, all I'm doing is unbuttoning a shirt and showing off a different shirt. But in a very real sense, and especially in the way that Triple H sold it, I'm becoming, and I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about it. It's one of those things where some people will show that scene to people who are not wrestling fans, and those non-fans get it. Like, they go, okay, I might not be a fan, but I get it. I understand why that works. And it's just, it can be an incredible, for all the frustration we have sometimes with the shows and things not being the way we think they should be or hope they are, when wrestling gets it right, when WWE, you know, in particular, when they get a story right and it connects, it can really be beautiful. And so I thought, you know, the storytelling that went into that, rivalry with Triple H was a thing of beauty.
So we'll see what these bids are. Is it a thing of beauty right now?
Sam Roberts, the guy with the podcast.
The Sam?
Is bid $1,800.
Sammy! Wow, thank you, Sammy. Appreciate that.
Anybody that need to be told to get in or out right now, Michael? Or were you still...
Well, no one that was up there has said they're out yet. So if you want to start moving the needle, we can. But
Okay.
we're waiting on...
Sam Roberts was an intern, and I was feeding him steak, force feeding him steak, because he never had anything but junk food, and he was literally vomiting. Yeah,
and all the protein.
It was like 15, 16
Nutrition,
years
what? Greens, no! But you talk about when things get right with storytelling, and can you put your finger on it? Like, what is the outcome of that?
Man, you know, the chemistry is such a big part of it, because there's been so many times you're like, what, this guy's an amazing worker. This guy,
Yeah.
You put them together and it's just not magic. It's still good. And I've said this to the point, I can't prove it, but I've said it in my shows, and you've probably been there, where I was like, there's an element of magic. It's either there or it's not there. You can't script it, you can't produce it, you can't predict it. You can give it the best chance to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think WWE made a great move in changing their WrestleMania to 2 nights. Because by the time people get to that 7th hour, not only have they seen 7 hours that one night, but they've probably seen 10 other events, whether including, you know, your WrestleCons, your Access,
Yeah, we've seen so
different
much.
shows, ROHs out there, all these things, you know. People are just wrestled out, and it's really difficult to have that magic moment at the end of a 7-hour show. But there are times where you just have chemistry with that person, the story is right, people are invested in it emotionally, and it's like the stars align, and you just click, and you create something that sticks with people for decades, you know, maybe even a lifetime. People be old and gray remembering that certain way they felt when Triple H and Mankind prepared to do battle, you know, inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and I totally agree that splitting up the 2 WrestleManias there
Yeah.
would have been so many great matches lost in the
Yep,
shuffle.
yeah.
Because if you put like Rhea Ripley, you know, your favorite wrestler, against Charlotte Flair in the middle of the show, that great match would have got lost.
Yeah,
but kicking
yeah.
off that night too,
Right, yeah.
it sticks
Now,
out
for
so
the,
much.
but poor Rhea, you know, she was robbed of the chance to have that match in front of the 70,000
that
people.
match
They
in front of
still
the
tore
people.
it down,
Yeah.
and it was still maybe the most universally acclaimed Mania there's been in at least 10 years.
Yeah.
So they all did a great job. But I'm sorry that she didn't have a chance to do that in front of 75,000 people.
And Drew McIntyre win the title in front of
True.
people like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of moments like that for a lot of talent. Like, gosh, if this was in front of people, it'd be a different thing altogether. And we have these large stars, but it's kind of just.
See, I had a lot of experience doing empty arena matches because I worked for TNA.
Boom! Oh!
Oh, I'm sorry. Dixie's not there anymore, so I don't have to apologize anymore. And I love TNA. It's just that's the joke that got me kicked out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's a long story. But I remember after I said, yeah, Dwayne Johnson defeated me in an empty arena match, a.k.a. a TNA house show. made a lot of people angry, and it was really disrespectful to everybody who's worked really hard for that company. Seemed funny at the time, but sometimes things do when you don't take into account, the people whose feelings that might hurt.
Well, I wasn't working TNA Street Team at that time, so I wasn't offended by it. If you would have said that joke in 2006, maybe I would have took offense to it, but not when you told the joke. But
thanks, Jake.
no problem. But let's see if there's serious business and no joking going around in the
We're still
bids.
at 18 if you want to go ahead and put this on 60 seconds.
Still for Sam?
Yep, still Sam.
Still Sam, 18.
Sammy.
Sometimes we flush it out.
Sammy.
60 seconds right now. Sam Roberts. Hopefully everybody's either got her in or out. The way that you let you know that you're in is you go higher than $1,800 right now. Sam Roberts has got it, and in 60 seconds he could get it completely. He could have an invoice in his email account. Sam, you better have a highspotsauctions.com account so we
I
can
hope so,
invoice
Sam.
it. Yeah,
Come on,
'cause
you
that's
can do
the whole
this.
process of this right now. 60 seconds, and then of course once you pay that invoice, Sam, Mick will sign it however you want it, personalized however you want it. That's what we'll gladly do for you, Sam. So
And may I say, Sam, your new haircut looks outstanding.
well,
Sam always had that big fro,
yeah.
right? And now it's groomed. He looks like a proper gentleman these days.
Yeah, that bald fro. Just
The bald fro, that Art Garfunkel thing he had going on.
Yeah, he was just
Yeah.
looking for his Paul Simon. He was just looking for maybe you could have been his Paul Simon.
You never know.
You never know.
When
But-
you're weary, feeling down, when friends just... All right, so
I'm
who
sorry.
wants to sing it? Sing along. Come on.
All I know is don't call me Al. That's the only one I know. But I'll be Chevy Chase, and I'll lip sync it while you sing it. But where are we at? Are we in 30 seconds right now for Sam?
30 seconds.
30 seconds for Sam, very close to the 10-second basketball count. Guys, it's your last opportunity. Like I said, I don't know if we're ever going to have main event WrestleMania gear ever in this office ever again. This is your last opportunity. It could be going to Sam Roberts very soon in just a few seconds. I can't wait to start that 10-second basketball count, but I'd also like to see this get a little bit higher. But here's your
Be
last
nice to
chance
hit
opportunity.
2, right?
We'd love to hit 2.
Just for the sake of the Foley
Yeah,
feelings.
I mean, yeah. But
My
this,
daughter's there weeping because she's got that my dad's a loser look because his main event stuff only brought in 1,800.
main event
My
WrestleMania.
wife is gonna yell at me. Oh God, this is
Sounds
what,
good.
Sound good. Read above it.
what a humbling moment this is in my life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be 10-second basketball count time. Is that where we're at, Michael? I'm getting the nod from Caroline Rudd. Nobody wants to acknowledge it because they're trying to protect Mick's feelings. But I got to
The most
stand.
expensive flannel in history, and he's upset.
Most expensive flannel ever is going to be auctioned off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Stop
5,
the count.
4,
Stop the count.
3, 2, 1. Sam Roberts, gonna let the dust settle. $1,800. Sam, make sure you have a highspotsauctions.com account so we can invoice you. That is part of the rules as well, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that.
So, and once you pay that invoice and you want to let us know how you want him to personalize, sign it, do whatever, we'll gladly, it'll be yours once this dust settles. So, everybody's good? We're
good.
clear? And
All
we're
right.
clear. All right, where do you want to go next?
What do you think, Jake? We've got the countdown to lockdown.
I think that'd be a great place to go. Now, this is, the manuscript,
This
you
is
say?
the copy. Wait, hold on a second. Something copied a manuscript. Editors. There's a fancy name for it.
Okay.
It's copyrighted manuscript. Someone help me out here. Anyone in the book world? What's it known as?
Well, if somebody was in the book world, they would not be here right now. I promise you. If I had any other trade than pro wrestling, I would not be here. I promise you. I've looked elsewhere.
Copy edited manuscript. So the thing is, you write. I did all my writing by hand, and then it would get transcribed. Then I would work on it again until I got all the words right. Then we would submit it, and then the copy editor would have their take on it. And you can see they light up those Foley pages like,
Oh, yeah.
like a Christmas tree with all the corrections.
There's a lot of red on here, man.
A lot of red on there.
This whole page is full of red right here.
So even though I pride myself on doing my own writing, I don't do my own corrections. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see a lot of times where I'll have handwritten notes in there where I'll
Yep.
say, okay, this sounds better in this way.
begin
Hey,
shooting.
suggestion here. And it's a very much a specialty item. I don't
yeah.
I expect maybe a couple people to be interested. I know, for example, with my first novel, Tatum Brown, that Daphne Unger was a big fan of that book, and I gave her the copy edited manuscript. and it really meant a lot to her. And I was just going through my stuff, and I was like, I mean, I was one step away there, the Foley notes, one step away from the paper shredder, and I was like, hold on, maybe we could find a good home for this through Highspots.
Oh, absolutely.
So granted, Countdown to Lockdown didn't even come close to hitting that fabled bestseller list, but I was still really proud of it, put a lot of myself into it. Yeah, can I read what one of those notes say?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, too, with this manuscript, we're going to throw in the finished product as well, just kind of help it out a little bit. There's a little
So
one
here's
note right
where it
there.
would say, she'd heard about, this is I'm writing about meeting Tori Amos, didn't appreciate the odd, paradoxical beauty of the situation. In that case, I might be the recipient of a mild Tori Amos reprimand, maybe even a stern finger wag. If I was so, you find your way, you do different things, and I know Jake, when you've been on the stage, when you're doing things, comedy or storytelling, the difference is when you're doing a book, you have one shot to get it right. You use your best judgment on how something sounds. When you're out there on the stage, you can try out different things each night and go, okay, let me try this on that night. But when you're in your room, or there's a story about me writing a novel. And I told my daughter, this is 2001 when I was writing a book called Teet and Brown. I was like, all right, Noelle, I'm going to be in the room over the garage, detached garage, so it was away from the house. I'm going to be writing all day, so under no circumstances is anyone to bother me. You got it? She said, okay. 30 minutes later, I hear, Dad, so 2001, you were what, 8 years old? And I said, what is it? Mom needs you. I said, go tell Mom that I'm an author, and this is my job, and I'm not to be bothered. And like 3 minutes later, I hear, Dad, I told Mom that. She said she doesn't care. She wants you to come into the house. And I come in I'm an author. I really am. This is what I do for a living. She's like, yeah, sure. Now take that out the garbage can, or whatever the case may be. But it's a cool item, and you can see the work that goes into something like this. And I was really proud of that book, despite the fact that it didn't do particularly well. But it was a good one, and I just thought I'd have it out here in case there was someone who wanted this little piece of wrestling history.
But I mean, you see your creative process.
Yes.
I think that's, and also too, like,
oh, the big X.
The big
Let
X.
me see what I X'd out of there,
like,
man.
You're not going to see this in this book because clearly there's a big old X on this
Let me see what I
page.
got rid of. Oh man, the big double X's.
Big,
Whoa.
cut that whole page. Page 221, non-existent.
Oh man, that's okay. There is a bunch of thoughts I've been gathering in my head for the past several years. Like I said earlier, I'm not an expert, and nothing I've written should be taken as an endorsement for any product or a knock of the practice of drug testing. I just always thought that, when they go, he's a cheater, like just for example, look, I've been on record as saying I'm not a fan of the current president, but nonetheless, he was on steroids that were not anabolic steroids.
Yeah.
And yet they were treating it like he was juiced up on like decadurabolin or something, and you're going, it's not the same thing. Like people should know that. And so that was me 10 years earlier, echoing a similar sentiment about some of the things that people would do when they'd hear that somebody with like androstenedione, and I would say, if you can buy it at GNC, it's not a drug, right?
Yeah.
And so I was frustrated, and that's maybe why it didn't. It got X'd out because it came across in the book like I was whining, just like it came across like I'm whining here live on TV.
That's
So
okay.
I've got that in me, I whine a little bit at home right now, quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You want to come in here and remark on that? No, not really. Okay. Yeah, I've been known to whine and fuss, so it's a good thing we X that out. I tell people, here's the thing about a book: you can edit out the part where you sound like a dick.
Yeah, that is an option. You
There
can
you
do
go.
that. That's the thing when you're on stage. You say like,
Oh, somebody just caught that forever. It's gonna be oh man.
Yeah.
But
you
anyway,
can stop it though.
Specialty item there.
Oh yeah, very very unique. Like I said, you get to see your creative process. I love I made jokes about the red, but when I do my stand up with my joke book, I'll go on stage, I'll write my bullet points out, with the new stuff with the jokes, and sometimes I'll go word for word, sometimes I won't, sometimes it's bullet points, but I'll go up and I'll perform, and then as soon as I'm done, I immediately get the red pen out. So my joke book is full of red notes of stop saying this, get rid of this, and those are the things that I get from it, and it's got to be immediate. And so I remember it right there. And then if it's something like, ooh, something worked and I don't know why, I would re-listen to it. But if I got there, I could get that immediate data, put it in the
I'm
book.
gonna give you. I
and
do a
review
different.
that.
I go and I think things through, almost like when I did promos. So I had this line I would use, and it turned out to be on the Hard Knocks Cheap Pops. Just Cheap Pops special that WWE Network did. Noelle did a great intro for me, but it was running long, so they didn't include her in that. And I had this line where I would talk about an elbow drop as a finish, and I would say, now it should be noted, because Kevin Sullivan goes, brother, you drop an elbow for a finish? And I said, it should be noted without further explanation. The elbow drop for a finish would seem weak, benign, borderline, and I use the P word, which is very unlike me to use a rough word like that. It was getting a chuckle, but not a laugh. And then one night I said, it was weak, benign, borderline Hogan-esque. And here come the laughs, and I go, he's not here tonight, is he? And I get more laughs, and I said, sorry about that, brother. And all of a sudden, it was like, that's what I need. Hulk and I are cool together, but still, I'm not above getting a laugh at his expense,
Of course, yeah.
And that just made sense, like borderline Hogan-esque. Here comes the laugh. He's not here tonight, is he? Sorry about that, brother. And now it's like, I knew there was something there, and you just find out what it is, and it can be a really cool process when it happens.
Absolutely. Well, let's see what the process is going with the bids right
See
now.
the process.
All right,
Let's
cool.
see, the last one I saw was Matt Kuhn at 300.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's better for something you're going to put in the shredder.
Yeah, not bad. It was about
Still
to
waiting
go.
for Christopher Morrill to say whether he's in or out.
All right, Christopher, let us know if you're in or you're out. Matt Kuhn's sitting at $300. This manuscript for Countdown to Lockdown. We'll even throw in the finished product as well. So
That's right. It's not bad. It's respectable.
yeah, absolutely. But when you're writing a book, I'm curious, how's that start for you? Because you've wrote so many books. Like, obviously, wrestlers like, here's a book, here's my entire story. I never have to write another book again. You wrote multiple books. What is the germ of the idea? Where does it start? You're like, I think I have something here for a
The
book.
first one was just fear, because there was, he was a respected, ghostwriter. He'd written 17 sports books, but he'd been out of wrestling for a long time. So he was writing things like, I couldn't believe that McMahon, turned his back on me after everything we'd been through. Or Fuller, he was talking about the stud stable jumping me. And I'm like, oh man, this was Arn had a book, Adrian Street had a book, but this was the first major label book. And I'm like, we can't be insulting people's intelligence here.
Yeah.
We can't be making people think that Robert Fuller was really turning his back on me. It's a storyline, and there's got to be a middle ground. At the very least, people should be able to read between the lines. And I was really concerned that I would have this mediocre book on my hands with my name attached to it. And I just thought I would be talking to the guy, and I'm like, okay, how about we do this? And I would say, okay, the part where you say, I want to be like the Fonz. Like, shouldn't we explain who he was? And he goes, well, who was he? And I said, oh, wow, this is going to be tougher than I thought. I said, how about we write this? So the writer's got a pen. I said, and I'm saying out loud, how about we say, I wanted to be like the Fonz. Arthur Fonzarelli from TV's Happy Days. There's no doubt about it. The Fonz was the man. Fix a broken jukebox with a slap of his palm, no problem. And women, why, the Fonz had them lined up down the hall. One of the small joys in my life is watching my children watch the Fonz on Nick at Night and knowing they think he's every bit as cool as I did. He's writing it down, and it clearly sounds better than the way it had been written. Then I said at the end, just put like 4 Y, a hey with like 4 Y's and 4 exclamation points. He goes, I can't do that. I said, why? He said, it's not a complete sentence. So Edge and Christian were going over their match, talking about things they might do. And I said, hey, Edgester, like, what did the Fonz used to say? He goes, hey. And I go, and the writer looks at me and goes, I'll do it, but I don't agree with you. And there were just so many cases where it was like pulling teeth. And then I called Judith Regan, and I just said, I think I can do a better job than this guy. And so I just went up in the upper deck of the Tallahassee Civic Center, started reading. And I was talking about that earlier today here, and seeing a guy like Steve Austin react. I was always primed for reactions. That's what I loved. I was always more of an entertainer and a performer than I was a competitor. And seeing guys react to stuff I wrote felt like being in the ring without getting beaten up. And that was a welcome departure for me. So that was what really started it. And then after that, I always felt like I had something else to add. And honestly, after the success of the first one, there was always something, some profit motive. But I'm proud to say that 100% of that book, Countdown to Lockdown, went to charity.
Okay.
100% of Tales from Rescalane went to charity. 100% of St. Mick went to charity. So it's really more. Sometimes there's a profit motive, but sometimes it's just about telling a story that you feel like you have inside of you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right.
For sure. Well, let's see if somebody's going to find this story inside their house.
Matt Coon, 320. If you want to put this on a 60-second clock, I think it's coming down between Matt Coon and Christopher Morrill. They're just going back and forth kind of slowly.
Okay, Christopher Morrill, let us know if you're in or you're out, but we're going to put a 60-second clock right now. So Matt Coon, we're at 3:20. For you, we will throw in the book as well. Countdown to Lockdown, manuscript, 6-second clock, then a 30-second clock, then 10-second clock. And of course, Matt Coon, you're going to be invoiced immediately if you win this item. We ask that you pay that invoice immediately. And once you pay that invoice and you want him to personalize it on the front cover or someplace or on the book, wherever, however you want to personalize, we'll gladly do it. And even you can choose the pen color too, especially. But you got to pay that invoice once you win that auction item. Is Matt Coon still the winner right now?
Well, just one other thing, just if you can communicate. We did take down personalizations.
Yep.
We've now re-put up products, so if they want to get a non-personalized picture,
Absolutely.
do the last chance.
Yes.
While we're going on auction, so go to highspotsauctions.com.
Yes, go to highspotsauctions.com. Last chance for non-personalized items, especially like all the fantastic art pieces and the other things that are the turnbuckle pads. There might be a few turnbuckle pads available. I don't know if we're sold out of those yet, but non-personalized items are still available. Personalizations are done. They're over with. They're taken off, but non-personalized items are there. So please buy as much as you possibly can and pick those up while we're sitting.
Can I say something to your viewers out there?
Absolutely.
Thank you really very much for being part of this, and thank you to the promoters out there who really found a way to make these appearances happen, because I'm like a lot of people. I was going from having one of the busiest years of my life to having zero for 6 months. Like looking at my calendar, I got nothing going on for 6 months. And so by doing these virtual signings, it's good for fans, it's good for the performers, good for the promoters. I really think we've shown an incredible ability to adapt, to the fan base. And some of these items, they really make people happy. And again, I'd rather have an item of mine making somebody happy than sitting in a box in storage. So thank you for being part of it. I look forward to this, the cameo stuff. I love doing this, and it really makes you realize how lucky you are to have fans who appreciate things you've done, even if it happened 20, 25, 30 years ago. So thank you.
No, thank you. And who do you thank for?
Matt Coon is at 350 and Christopher Morrill's out. So
Okay.
if you want to just put this on a 30-second clock.
30-second clock.
350 to Matt Coon.
350. Matt Coon, I'm going to rubber band it for you. It will come with the final product right here. Come with all the red pages, the X'd out pages right here. Oh, broke the rubber band. The rubber band's busted. We'll get another rubber band.
Now that book's going to give birth to another book.
There we go, right there.
Is that too vague, the rubber?
We're all right. 30-second clock. We're ticking down to the 10-second clock for Matt Coon. We will include the final product as well. Countdown to Lockdown. Matt Coon, check your email because you're going to be invoiced for this in about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I lost you somewhere around 3 or 4.
I know.
That's okay. It's all right.
Using my right hand.
Sometimes I've gone down and gone back again on these counts. Luckily, nobody's noticed. But right now, we noticed that Matt Coon, you win that for $350 right here. Congratulations. You're getting an invoice very, very soon in your email. So be looking out for that and pay that invoice immediately. All right.
Jake, let's go with our two charitable donations.
Oh,
now.
let's do that. Which one?
And if we run, why don't we go with the Bret Hart book first?
Okay.
I think this is good. Interest of full disclosure, the top of the book, just the jacket is a little bit stained.
There's a little water damage or some sort of
But
schmutz.
the book itself is very clean.
Very clean inside of the book.
Does not smell.
No, does not.
And it's a great book. Brett has one of the
No,
best.
no cocaine on it, so it's never been in the UWF. So it's good. That's good to go there. But it is inscribed to Mick.
And again, I've never let go of something like this signed by one of the guys. But when I did read about Josh, who's got a long way to go, broke both his legs in ring. I know there were some people who were, ridiculing him.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing you need when your life has just been upended and changed forever is people ridiculing you. Look, it happens to all of us. Some of the injuries we get are not because of the wild spots we do. Sometimes it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's just you've done so much, you can only take so much. For example, I finished my backlash match with Randy Orton, one of the best match I've ever done. One of the wildest matches. I got home, and 2 days later, I'm watching my young boys play at a water table, in the backyard. And I went to get up out of my chair, and I couldn't because my meniscus had snapped. And it's just like it was hanging on by a thread.
Oh.
So it wasn't getting up out of the chair that broke it. It was the fact that it was frayed and torn anyway, and just that, boom, that last one. And I could barely get up out of there. But we are trying to help a young man take care of his medical bills, which are enormous. And I think more than the money we raise, it's just knowing that guys in the wrestling community, Jericho being one of them, I think there were a few other guys who made donations. And now for him to know that I'm parting with my Bret Hart book. And make me, Brad, if you're out there, I'm so sorry, but I know I had this book and I thought it was a way that we could make a difference for this young man, not just financially, but emotionally. And so I'm parting with something that is really special to me, and I hope we get a fitting price for it.
Yeah, and just it's the smallest things. Like I got a bum knee right now too.
Yeah.
And it's just the weirdest thing. Like I was jumping off and I just planted wrong.
Yeah.
And then like when I saw the video of him just jumping off the second, I'm terrified by that. I wouldn't do that the way my knee is right now.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine.
So I was telling a couple of people in the other room when I was signing, I was like, look, when I used to do independence in '94, people thought I went outside the ring for most of my match because I did like it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love that stuff outside the ring. But when you're going and you're kind of like globe-trotting and you're working for different promotions and you're stepping in the ring, you're like, oh, there's a hole. Like, if I step in that hole, that's 6 months out of my life, And so I just felt more comfortable and safer outside. Like, I'd rather take a suplex outside on a concrete floor than I would run a high spot in a ring that I'm not familiar with because at least I'm in control of my own destiny. And, yeah, I'll be sore the next day, but I'll be okay. I remember driving home from Altoona, Pennsylvania, and storming pretty bad. And I'd gone out there to do something, as the troubleshooting enforcer at ringside. And it dawns on me that Kevin Nash has a match, and there's a hole in the ring. And so I'm texting Kevin, hey, Kev, listen, man, you better be careful. There's a hole in that ring. If I were you, I'd go outside, not do too much out there. He's like, okay, thanks, Mick. Love you, man. And I'm like, love you too, pal. And he's like, I'm glad you're always there for me. I was like, I am there for you. And then it dawns on me, what if I get in a car accident? And my wife is giving my belongings, and the last thing she sees is this love letter between me and a guy named Big Sexy. And she's like, what kind of man was this? But, yeah, we do look out for each other. And hopefully, we have an offer yet?
We do. We're currently at 325.
We can do better than that,
Yeah,
right?
we can
This
do
is
it.
one where I'll go, we need to do better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hope we can do better than that. I mean, of course, we'll let it go if we have to, but his feelings are going to be hurt, the hitman. If he finds out this book went for 325, oh, man, that'd be an insult, right?
Especially as prideful as the Hitman is.
No, you're not.
He read this book. I loved Brett, but I lean more towards the Sean camp after reading this book.
Oh, do you, huh?
Yeah.
It's such an immaculately written book, though.
It is, and strange details that he remembers.
Some really strange. I was thinking to myself, does he have to say all this? Like,
Exactly. That's how I felt.
You have to say all this?
Yeah, you don't have to.
And I was like, even when he's talking about Bruce's booking, I was like, but that's like the biggest sense of pride, leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Go after Vince, because Vince is the big fish. But it is, I remember talking to Natty about it. Natty's one of the sweetest people. I was like, I don't know, my Uncle Brett sometimes, I just don't, I don't know if he realizes, the ramifications of the words, but it is a really good book.
It is. It's extreme detail and like some of the things he just snaps into for the moment, and it's just like.
And it was a work in progress for like 6 years, whereas Have a Nice Day was me in 50 days writing 185,000 words or whatever by hand. So it was a completely different MO. You know, Brett really wanted to tell his story as perfectly as he could. For a lot of people, there's a sense of closure that comes with writing, especially if you're doing it yourself. If you're just handing the job off to a writer, it's not the same thing. But for someone who really puts a lot of pride into it, like Brett did with this one, it's one of the great career milestones, you know, for any competitor. So, hopefully somebody sees the value in that book.
Absolutely, and also too, this longer version is a little bit tougher to find. I know that much. Like this is the hardback copy as well. As you guys know, with the dust jacket, most of the paperback versions are still available, but like the hard copy's a little bit tougher to find.
Yeah,
these days.
yeah, oh,
and it's personalized, you know, by Brett to Mick, so that obviously there's that sentimental value to it. But let's see if anybody's picking up right now.
We're still on here. A lot of people have been moved though about this story. We've shared the GoFundMe link, and a lot of people said they're going to contribute. So
awesome.
Maybe we're not getting directly through this route, but I think there's a lot of people who are going to give $20, $30 each.
Yeah, that's one thing I realized when I helped out with the college fund for Ashley Massaro's daughter, is that when Ashley's mom and her daughter, Lexi, when they found out the results of the fundraiser, they weren't saying, look how much this person contributed. They were really taken by how many people it contributed. So it was something like 2,500 people. And you'll get those naysayers who'll be like, hey, you've got money, why don't you just pay for it? And it's like, because, you know, because I don't think I have as much money as people think I do, you know, and I was contributing quite a bit. But it's also something as a community that we can be so powerful that $5, $10, $20 added up by a few hundred people or a few thousand people, it makes a difference. And in that case, we were able to fund her college education, $100,000. In this case, this young man, Josh, needs a lot of money. But like I said, finding out that you and I are talking about this is going to mean as much or more, and finding out that our talking led to 10 or 15 more people making a donation will probably mean the world to that young man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a freak accident. Like I said, something could have happened definitely if I jump off the second rope. I don't even do that anymore. Like it's like a step down from the second rope anymore. You don't see me jump off.
Hey,
backwards.
can we reminisce together about something we were both part of?
Please.
This is Terry Funk with an N.
Yeah.
You know, Funk. He's Man Scout's manager, which makes perfect sense. I'm the troubleshooting enforcer outside.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who the referee was. And so we're at it's Mike, the promoter, Mike
Lombardi.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Mike Lombardi, and Mike runs a great show.
Yes,
it's a great family show.
Yes.
So a lot of people there may not know who Terry Funk was. Like maybe 20% of people know who Terry Funk was. But within 2 minutes, whether or not they knew he was, they knew he was somebody to be reckoned with. He might have been 70 years old at the time, but he was the most dangerous 70-year-old man you've ever seen. He starts making a beeline for the ring, and I say to the referee, you better run. And he looks at me like, what do you mean? I said, gee, you better run. And he goes, are you ready? You better run. And he won't leave. He goes, but I'm the referee. I said, I'm telling you, for the God's sake, you better run. And Terry comes in, he rears back that big left hand, all here, bam, and down goes the referee. And after the match, I mean, all kinds of mayhem takes place.
The whole time?
The whole thing, Terry's dropping, F-bombs. And
Well, that's the thing. The promoter said, Terry, please, this is a family show. Whatever you do when you get on the mic, because he's going to introduce me as his man. He's going to endorse me. Like, I'm going to take, because he was Jerry the King Lawler. You're in Lawler's corner. And he's like, I hate both of you two. I got a man that's going to beat both of you up, and he's going to bring me out. But he couldn't just say that. But the promoter's like, please, when you introduce Jake, just please use the best language.
His first word out of his mouth is BS, right?
He's like, bullshit! Like screamed as loud as possible into the microphone, and he punched the referee.
And I'll cut. We got to get back to selling stuff.
We will.
But speaking of selling, we go back after the match. The referee's got this big ice pack on his head, and he's like, I can't believe he hit me. And I look at him, I go, what part of the words "you'd better run." Did you not understand? Like he's Terry Funk. I don't know if he's kidding or not. It's better not to find out the hard way.
Well, the funny part was also too. I don't know if you saw it from your side because you were on the other side of the ring. Thankfully, I was on that same side with that maniac who was in my corner. So at one point in time he got loose and he was going after a fan, and I had to bring him back over the guardrail, and I calmed him down enough. I go, all right, Terry, I'm going to go in. I'm going to wrestle Jerry Lawler. Just calm down.
Yeah.
And then I immediately climb up the wooden ring steps, and as soon as I step off the ring steps and I'm onto the ring, I hear this loud.
He picks him up, right?
Yeah, a loud crack and an explosion, and I go, what happened? And I turned around, and the wooden ring steps are in like slivers all over the ground, and he has a sharp stick. And he has this look on his face like a child that has a broken toy, and he's just like, I don't know what I did. And I'm like, you know what you did, Terry. And I'm like, will you just calm down? And then at one point in time, Jerry Lawler, of course, gives me a big backdrop.
Yeah.
I take a big drop kick. I go outside, and Terry just pulls me very calmly. And like he grabs me by both shoulders. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where Terry Funk gives me the wisdom of the world. And he's like, let me talk to you right here, what you need to do. And he hit me as hard as I've ever been hit before, like in a real fight.
Yeah.
But open hand across the face, and I like he kept hitting me back and forth. I got in the ring immediately to run away from my manager to go wrestle Jerry Lawler, who's got one of the best right hands in the business, because my manager was hurting me so badly. I went to go against the guy with the best right hand in the business for safety.
Safety, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Oh. Terry Funk. Did we ever get a hold of Terry tonight?
He was at dinner when I called.
He was at dinner. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Tell me some good news here, Michael. What are we up to?
Well, I'm looking because 325 was the last one, but someone else is saying it was 375, and I didn't see the 375 bid. 325. That's where we're stuck at. Put this on 30 seconds.
30
Like I said,
seconds.
I think you've got at least 325 in people that are going to go directly to the.
Okay, and it's the GoFundMe's in the.
Yep.
You know what? I'll tell you what. As soon as I'm going to go in the comment section, I'm going to give a little bit to myself on top
thanks,
of this.
man.
So
Yeah.
just a little bit. It may not be all of 320, but at least it'll be a Man Scout level of 325.
Yeah.
So, but because trust me, it's a guy with bad knees that could happen to me. So I feel just as bad as well.
I'll add a little bit on top of that too, so
Okay.
we'll at least get it to 500.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit. We'll go a little bit closer too. But we're on
Maybe
325.
we
You
can hit
said
500 here in the
So
next 30 seconds.
325.
Josh Cummings.
Josh Cummings. Is where we're
There's
sitting.
Josh.
Right
You
here.
got it, man.
And we're go ahead and
I think
put
Josh wasn't letting
Dan
the other ones
Sky
come
just
in.
came in at 400.
It's got 400.
We got a bidding war.
We got a bidding war. $400. Dan
Dan said, I
Scott.
don't want Mick sad again.
Yeah, you think I'm all out of tears? I'm not, brother.
Oh dear gosh,
There's
no.
some more tears. This is like watching the great Santini all over again. But
Josh
this
just
time,
went to 500. You revealed the number you were hoping to get
There
to.
you
Josh
go,
got it.
All right, we're at 500. So Dan Sky, let us know if you're in or you're out. $500 is where we sit right now for this signed Bret Hart book. I'm going to show it a little bit closer, kind of tease you once again, Dan Sky. Let us know if you're in or you're out.
I think Bret Hart's going to be on eBay tomorrow with the book I signed for him. All right, Foley, two can play at this game.
All right, put this on a 10-second count.
10-second count. That's what we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna settle this in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations,
Josh Cummings.
Josh Cummings. $500. This is where it sits right now. Very good. All right, where do we want to go
All right,
next?
I think we got to go with custom made.
Custom
Made David Allen.
Ooh.
Story behind this, I come in to do the backstage promo with Dean Ambrose. This was the one where I passed the torch, or literally passed the barbed wire bat to him, right?
Oh yes, yes.
And to me, it was one of the best backstage promos I've done, because at first when I found out I'm coming all the way back, there's a backstory here which I think you guys are going to love, about how you can get things done, okay, and do it diplomatically, we'll say, because there are some people who get a promo, they'll crumple it up, throw it on the ground. Now, my son is part of the writing team. He warned my wife that Dad was not going to be too happy with the promo that had been written for him. And now my wife responded, Dad's been around a long time. Don't worry about him. So I'm eating with a pre-man Becky Lynch, right? Becky's in catering with me. Of course, she's part of the mix, but she's got some time. They're not doing, the whole reason the Becky Lynch man thing connected so well is because everyone knew she was underutilized for a couple of years. And when they finally saw her getting her chance, they just jumped at it. I swear I'm going to get to the part about the jacket coming up soon. But people can start placing their bids.
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
start
They know
coming- they're
this
coming
was a
in.
big part of my Raw GM run. This was my favorite thing. If people want to know why I'm parting with it, the answer is it doesn't fit me anymore. Yeah, I kind of grew out of that, that svelte look I was sporting back then. I'm a little closer to my, my regular weight than I was my GM weight. So I get the promo. Becky's with me, and she's watching as I say to the writer. He goes, "The writer says, what do you think?" I said, "Well, I think there's a little more humor in there than I would like." And he goes, "Okay." I said, "Once I hand the bat to Dean, there's nothing that Dean can say that's more powerful than the passing of that torch." Okay. And I said, "And what if?" And one by one, I start going through and dissecting and changing everything about it. And I hand it back to the guy, and I say to Becky, I said, "Did you notice that the promo now bears no resemblance to the promo I was given, but I never made the writer feel like it was no longer his?" And Becky looks at me and goes, "You're good." And I said, sometimes the biggest battles you face are wondering which battles to fight at all, right? You don't have to be constantly yelling, people browbeating. But when we went and we did that, and then I will say, fairness to Dean, because it wasn't just my promo, I said, "Dean, I got this idea." I said, when it comes down to me saying, "Why are you doing this? Why are you going to do this match with Brock?" He'll say, "Then why did you, when you did that cell match," because it's in Pittsburgh where I had the cell match, I said, weren't you a little scared? I was terrified. He said, "Then why'd you do it?" And I said, "Because I'm Mick Foley and that's what I do." And I'm marking out for myself. I'm getting goosebumps as I say it. And then you'll say, "Well, I'm Dean Ambrose and this is what I do." And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, I like that." I said, "What part do you like?" He goes, "Yeah, I like that part about me being Dean Ambrose. This is what I do." So we go, no rehearsal or anything. They do it one time backstage before we go live. And we hit it, we nail it. And they said, "Do you want to do it again?" I said, "I just got goosebumps doing a backstage rehearsal. I think we're good to go." And so we go and we do it live. It's not a pre-tape. We do it live so we can hear people responding. And the way that felt, like it just, when things are really connecting, like it was different than being out there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Because then you have to have a cadence and you kind of need the pops to keep you going. Whereas here, backstage, it's all business. It's 100% what's best for that promo. And it just felt like we hit a home run. So where this jacket comes in, as I was introduced to David Allen backstage, I said, "No offense, but you and I are probably not going to get to know each other. Like, what the heck am I going to do with a custom tailor?" And as soon as I got the GM job, I call him up. I say, "David, it's Mick Foley. Can you make me a red and black flannel suit?" So I don't know what happened to the pants, but I loved this jacket.
Oh,
I mean, I
it's a
loved
great
it.
jacket.
It's and it's custom made. It's got it's got my name in there. It's got the David Allen, and I just loved it. There might even be something. No, nothing in the
Oh, yeah,
pockets.
yeah, check those pockets before we auction anything off. Because once I put
Whoa,
it out
there is
here,
something in here. What is it? Universal Fans for Fans, Consultant, Creative Strategic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll keep it in there if you want. But I think this is a really cool item.
Absolutely.
It's
I'm gonna show it
one
off
of a
right here.
kind. Yeah, put it
Absolutely.
under the microscope there.
right here, get a closer look. As Mick said, on there, it's got Mick right there, David Allen. I mean, so, also, too, I love the sharpness of the pockets right here.
Man.
That's I think the pocket really kind
Yeah.
of just makes it pop. I mean, the collar is nice, but that detail of the pocket, I think, just sets it.
It's
all
really
off.
sharp, and I think
Really
it's like
sharp.
I think it's a 48 chest. Now I'm back to like the 54 area, but it really looks nice, and it's a part of history. And I accessorize. I must have worn that. If I was GM for 30 weeks, I probably wore it 10 of those weeks. Yeah, I love that thing. So
Now, would that have been in the wintertime or the summertime? Because
That's
I'm feeling how heavy this is.
it's all year, brother, man.
Oh yeah, all year backstage. I hope they keep it cool back there.
I sweat in the summer. I get cold in the winter, but that's the way I like it. I make it through a winter with a flannel shirt, right? Yeah, generally a pair of gloves and a flannel shirt. And just so you know, a little FYI, WWE wanted me to wear that when I did the recent commercial for the video game. They're like, "One red and black flannel." I was like, that no longer fits me. So I am parting with it. I did love it. I hope it gets a nice price because it's it's one of those things where I'm going to get less for it than I paid, but it'd be a nice piece of memorabilia for someone like Sam Roberts or Josh. So what do we got on there, Michael?
A marshmallow, which we're trying to determine his real name, even though this guy's been around. It's currently at $600.
It's a nice jumping point.
Yeah, nice jump off
Yeah,
point.
nice jump off.
Very
It's not insulting, is it, Hunter? I won't be insulted by it. Okay.
I saw Rick Steiner pay-per-view gear go for less. So.
Really?
Yes. Oh, so that's a nice jumping off point.
Okay.
Right there.
Let's say, yeah.
Got your fans for sure. So, but with the red flannel, you said. Now, obviously, we were talking about the WrestleMania flannel, and then you got to the red flannel.
Yeah.
What was it about the red flannel that's now identified with you for?
I think people connected it. I don't know why. I have this unspoken bond because I had been given a red flannel when I was 12 years old, and it was way too big for me. I'm an 8th grader. I may have been 13. It was actually the same exact red flannel I wore in my barbed wire match with the Sandman in ECW. Like, I found it, had all these tears in it. I wore it so much. Like, I think people just sensed this was something I actually wore and that I love red and black flannel. And then again, when I became the WWF commissioner, it's something people just associated with. I wore them quite a bit. I liked them. They were comfortable. People knew I was just showing up in whatever, I was showing up in the ring with whatever I was wearing that day, which was flannel. And even though I'm wearing the Springsteen vest, I wore this for like 10 years because it had pockets. And I went away from the fanny pack for about 10 years. And then what brought me back to the pack was actually watching WWE Network, where they were doing the greatest tag teams. And the Rock and Sock Connection landed at like number 5, despite the fact we only teamed up for 7 weeks. So you've got the Rock and Roll Express. I don't even think the Midnights made it. The Road Warriors teams have been together for 20 years. Here's Rock and Sock Connection. And I'm watching so many awful examples, so many fashion faux pas in a 5-minute segment that I just said in the middle of the Foley family Christmas room. I might as well go back to the fanny pack. Like, it's not like I was ruining a look I had going.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone's going to go, geez, he really had it down with that sweatpants and flannel look, and then the fanny pack ruined it. But when I went 10 years or so without a fanny pack, I would wear this thing because I was like a kangaroo. I could just put stuff
I'm the
in
same
my
exact way.
pockets.
Hoodies for me, like with the pockets in there.
Pockets,
and,
right?
and then I've got a hoodie that's got a little zipper up here, so I can put my iPod. And something really small that I need to keep in there for whatever reason. Kind of tuck that in there. If I need to hide keys or whatever, I just slide it in there.
And so I just found this on the same storage trip. I hadn't seen this thing in like 5-6 years, and in the meantime, the Irwin family from the Australia Zoo had been nice enough to give me a vest, and I must have worn that thing 100 times in the last 2 years because it has the pockets. I just recently
when we did the comedy tour, you were wearing that.
Yeah, it was, right?
Yes.
Because I could travel for 2 weeks, no bag, just me, 2 extra pairs of underwear, a t-shirt, and I'm good to go. No, I'm kind of exaggerating there, but yeah, I do travel light. Where are we at? Are we ever?
We're still at 600.
What?
You want to put this on a 60-second clock and try to flush it out?
All right, well, we're putting the season clock, which means we go on the hard camera right here just to flush this out, just so you guys know that we're getting very close to settle this up. Unless somebody jumps in on this, we're serious.
Somebody should jump in on that thing.
Somebody needs to jump in on this thing. $600.
Or else I'm taking my ball and going home. I might just bid $750 on this thing and pay myself, right? There'd be no loss of money if I pay for it and I get it back.
Nice warm flannel too. We're about ready to get cold here soon. Like this, I mean, you're gonna look sharp. You're gonna be warm. I mean, it's functional. I mean, if you want to hang it up on the wall as a piece of memorabilia, you can do that. But it's very functional.
Mark me down for $750. Can you do that? Is that legal?
Let's see if we need to.
Okay.
So, like I said, sometimes you got to wake these people up.
I'll lose the 50 pounds if I need to, on principle. I'll squeeze into it right now if I can.
Because, like I said, sometimes like everybody just listens to our stories. Sometimes you got to let them know, like, hey, we're trying to set up those auction guys. So bid or don't bid. Like, you got to remind these people. So.
Hey, if I'm only getting 600, that doesn't spell well for the Foley marionette, does it?
Ooh, no, it does not.
Jeez, I'll be paying somebody to take this off my hands at the way things are going here. No, actually, we've made a lot of money already.
Yeah,
And we still got the Peanut Butter Falcon shooting script, which is going to be awesome.
Absolutely. We got a couple more pieces, but right now we're trying to settle this flannel jacket. Are we still at the $600 mark, Michael?
We're still there.
All right, that means we're at 30 seconds right now. Very close to that 10-second budget.
Certainly up to Mick whether he wants to part with it.
We're at 600.
Will I seem like a sore loser if I don't part with it for 600?
You will to Marshmallow for sure.
It's considerably less than I paid for it, so I think I'll hold on to it with the hopes that I'll fit into it someday. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Oh. Sorry, Marshmallow. Sorry.
All right. No issues. All right. Let's move on to something else.
This is
Maybe.
going to be like a big thing on the internet. Foley folds up tent and goes home. Takes ball.
Well, we folded up a flannel jacket, not a tent.
Yeah, okay.
Folding a tent's my job, Mick. Okay, like.
Show off. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's
you are
it.
the man scout. So let's go with this bad boy.
All right.
This is it's not a shooting script. It's like I don't know what to call it. It's something. It's a
It's got a shot.
prospectus.
Yeah. Shot
There's
by
a
shot
script. It's really cool because it is. You might want
breakdown.
to take this.
I'll take that from you, and I'll put
It's
it on
got
close-up
4
camera.
sections, and this was something they were showing to prospective financiers and actors. So when they proposed this movie to me, they had no one in place except for Zach Gottsagen as the lead actor. And so there's even like almost like a mission statement written down,
Yes,
the purpose of the movie. Yeah.
Short synopsis,
Yeah.
artistic statements, character descriptions, long synopsis.
Yep. And then you go on to the next section, which is the script, right? Script, and then after that, storyboards, and the fact that it's done like with cardboard, and it was such a passion passion project. They had a little bit of good luck. They got an incredible cast together. Zach, in my mind, should have been nominated for an Academy Award. Shia LaBeouf was really great, making a comeback, and Dakota Johnson was wonderful. Thomas Hayden Church ended up actually using a lot of the lines that I wrote for him. He came up to me with that voice. He's like, "Listen, man, I don't really know much about wrestling. Anything you could tell me would be much appreciated." So I went back that night and I rewrote a bunch of his lines that I thought would be more in keeping with that character. Here's the storyboard. So it's really cool. And then at the end, the test stills. So for people who saw that movie, people didn't see the movie and go, it's okay. I mean, people really love this movie. And you can see that Zach was out there. There's the scene with the Falcon, Peanut Butter Falcon. But this is 3 or 4 years before the movie was actually shot. And so one of the directors is standing in as the Shia LaBeouf character. And it's really cool to know that I was in on the ground floor of this movie. And again, 100% of what we raise here will go to Special Olympics. Otherwise, I wouldn't be parting with it. And it's pretty cool for somebody who loves that movie. Even if they wanted to look at it as an investment, I think they'll probably be able to parlay that into a bigger money down the line. But as far as unique souvenirs go, it doesn't get much cooler than this.
Absolutely.
And a little story I was telling some of the guys, when I read this script, I thought, this is a really nice script. In my mind, I thought, they're never going to find a way to convey to people that there would be someone so vile and evil that they would rather dominate their own small backyard wrestling federation than make a young man with Down syndrome look good. And it wasn't until I saw Jake Roberts in the ring, I thought to myself, he's doing it. Jake Roberts is actually doing it. And Jake was great in the movie. And I thought I was okay as well. So I had the rare situation where I got to see a movie that I'm in the theater. And so it's an afternoon matinee. And there was a group of older ladies, who were not wrestling fans, but who loved it anyway. So I talked to them about it afterwards. But here I come for my big close-up, and I hear one of the older women say to the other, "What happened to his ear?"
And then you just lapse into like a promo or your shit.
Well, afterwards I said, "Hey, can I ask what you thought of it?" And they were all like, "Oh, what a wonderful movie." I was like, "I was in it." And they were, I was the referee with the weird ear. And they're like, "Yes, you were." So it's got some great memories. I really loved doing that movie, and this is a unique piece. Do we have a bid?
$375.
That's good, right? That's good.
Very respectful.
Yeah, and it's something I'd be happy with that, because I just wouldn't feel right. It would either live out its life in a box in storage or go to the shredder. And for somebody to find some love in that thing, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll be really honest. I still haven't seen this movie. It's on my...
What?
It's still in my queue. It's still in my queue.
Next thing you're gonna tell me you haven't seen 12-Hour Shift.
So,
What?
I still haven't seen 12 Rounds, round 2 either.
So, funny story. 12-Hour Shift is a movie I'm in, and I'm only in it for one scene, but it's a good scene. And my daughter, Noelle, you want to come here and remark about Dad's verbiage? Come on in here. We need more Noelle Foley on
Please.
screen. So tell me about you and Dewey, your older brother, watching this scene with your dad in it.
Well, first of all, Dewey says, "Let's watch 12 rounds." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." And then he tells me that, "Oh, Dad's in it." So
12-Hour Shift.
Yeah.
12 rounds is different.
My
Yeah,
bad.
I was making
Sorry,
a different
I
joke
got
about a
caught up
different
with
movie.
him.
Yes.
But I didn't even know you were in this movie. So that was a nice surprise. But his scene comes on, and he curses more in 1 minute than I have ever heard him curse in my entire life.
How many F-bombs have you heard me drop outside of my one-man show?
I want to say 5.
5 in
Like
26
2
years.
or 3 of them is yelling at Dewey.
Yeah, there was, and I remember Huey, the youngest son. How many times you heard Dad curse? He goes, like twice. And I said, "Was it effective?" He goes,
And he snorted like that too.
That's why I don't curse much. You get a guy like DDP who needs at least 5 F-bombs to describe the birth of a fuzzy puppy, right?
Yeah.
Or just guys, what'd you do in your match? I shot him into the effing ropes. We don't ever drop a leg, do we?
No.
We drop a big effing leg, right? He doesn't come off the ropes, he comes off the effing ropes. It used to be funny, like Triple H curses a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when Noelle and Dewey were little, this would be Hunter talking and be like, effing this. Oh, sorry, kids. Every 5 seconds, Hunter would have to pause to apologize to me for cursing. And it's like, that's just something we do. And, yeah, I don't do it. You've seen the one-man show.
Yep.
I kind of wait on that F-bomb like it's a finishing move. And so it really was something to see for me to just be dropping one after another.
Yeah, so if you want to see a whole nother face of Foley, check out that movie.
And
it's
when
really funny.
If someone's wondering, when they see the shiny button-down shirt, whether or not I'm paying tribute to Dwayne Johnson, yes, I am. I
Okay.
saw a wardrobe. I'm like, I'm taking that shirt. Yeah. So it's really a fun movie, and the actress I work with, Chloe Farnworth, she was really dynamite. Like, I think this could really lead to something. She was really good in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's really good in it. And Bria Grant was the director, and it was, and you know what's funny is we were talking about Ric Flair and Wendy, and Wendy's son is in the scene in the background sitting at the table.
Oh, really?
She let him out of at work or whatever he was doing so he could be part of that movie with me.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty cool. But 12-Hour Shift is that movie. But we're not talking about that movie now, are we? We're talking about The Peanut Butter Falcon, the movie that cold-hearted Jake Manning has yet to see.
I know, but
you're going to be mad at this.
What?
I haven't seen it.
What?
either.
But let me ask you this, Noelle. Have you
Yeah.
seen your father in the movie Chokeslam? Have you seen that one?
No.
You're not even aware there is a movie called Chokeslam?
I've seen Chokeslam before.
I'm so good in that.
You are. You're fantastic at it.
Well, you never told me, Dad.
Niall Matter is one of my favorite Hallmark leading men. He's so good in this movie that I'm watching a movie called Finding Father Christmas. Like, I know I've seen that guy, but I feel like he was like kind of like like a hustler. And then I look up his IMDb. I was like, that's how I know him. He did a movie with me, and he was awesome in it. Yeah, I love doing that. Davy Boy Smith Jr.'s in it. It was a lot of fun.
So are there any other movies that you've been in that I haven't seen? Because you were in that one, I forgot what it's called, but there's a woman that is like a sexual dancer. And you have some part in it.
That's in Warren the Ape.
No.
That's when Warren and I'm in a movie with a sexual dancer?
Or maybe is there a poster of you in someone's room?
Oh yeah, that was Dixieland.
Oh, Dixieland.
That was
have
Dixieland.
You seen that?
I have not.
It's
I need to look into this.
Dixieland is a movie I was in where I play. This thing. Noelle and I go to the premiere, and it's Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, and then what's his name? Silka. He's Zilka. Thomas Zilka plays the lead, I think, and I play myself, and I appear to him in a dream, and I give him the inspiration to kill somebody. I appear to him in a dream when Elvis's granddaughter is dancing, right? She's in a bikini.
And I said sexual dancer, and you had no idea what I was talking about.
So the cool thing is, like, so in the scene, I'm supposed to make it rain, right? And they give me a stack of bills, and I can't do it for the life of me. There's like 20 bills falling off at a time. And they go, okay, just try rolling it. And now they're filming, and all of a sudden it's I'm doing this like I've been at clubs every weekend, and all I can think of as these bills are floating down gracefully is like, how am I going to explain this to Mom?
That I'm so good at this.
And the cool thing is they had this little robe for Riley, Elvis. So I'm making it rain on the king's granddaughter, right? and in the scene there's a scene that they do where he tells Riley, Chris Zilka, I think his name is, a good actor. He's into wrestling, and she goes, I like that Hulk Hogan stuff. He's like, no, not like Hulk Hogan, like Mick Foley. And she goes, well, what's the difference? And he like cuts a promo on her for not knowing the difference. And I'm looking at Noelle like, they're talking about your old man. And Faith Hill, the country singer, she plays Chris's mom, and they have a poster of me in the room, and they're having this heart-to-heart talk, and there's Mick freaking Foley right in between them. So it was really cool. But the part with Riley is they had this little robe, like terry cloth robe. It didn't look very comfortable, and I said, would you like to wear my sweatshirt? I had this red zip down hoodie with a Santa theme on the back, and so the king's granddaughter would use that in between scenes, and I let her keep it when we were done. So it was another one of those really good experiences. So I've been in some stuff,
Yeah.
And I don't get paid. I mean, Dwayne Johnson makes maybe twice what I do for a film, but
Give or take. I'll have to double check. We'll look up net worth, Mick Foley, and then compare net worth, Dwayne Johnson. That's always
close.
accurate.
Dad, real quick, did you know what making it rain meant before that scene?
yeah,
Okay, I just feel like he wouldn't know.
I'd heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. It
I mean, he
just
was
seems
friends
like
with
one
the
of those
Godfather.
terms
For,
that
I
he
mean,
wouldn't
come on.
Godfather, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Okay,
what
I
it
was
means.
just curious.
I'd
Just
never
want you
made
to
it.
know.
I'm far too cheap. First of all, make it rain.
Yeah.
I've made it rain with candy before.
You did? well, do they have some snacks in here, Highspots or what?
High snack. I just said high snacks.
Well, we might as well
It
change our
might
name
as
to
well
High
be
Snacks
High
if you see in the
Snacks.
break room.
There are so many snacks back there. It's like a dreamland, and I'm
It's
gonna
like-
take a lot home.
Yeah, we're
If
taking
that's
a lot
okay with
home.
you guys.
Please.
Please.
Take it all.
All right.
Take it.
Anyway, where are we?
We're in the-
peanut butter bag?
$500 to Kyle Marcellus.
How much?
$500.
$500.
500. All right.
Do we need to scare anybody off? Where are we at? In or out?
Hey, we're getting some good feedback on just sitting here and telling
You're
stories
getting
as we
great
go.
feedback.
All
That's-
right, good.
I mean, I think that's a lot of people are distracted by the conversation and maybe not be focused on the bidding.
And making it rain.
Hey, now, can I brag about? Michael had this thing. Michael's you invented Highspots, right? This is your baby.
This is my baby.
And so he's got these 3 faces of Foley, and I'm supposed to sign them all in gold. And I said, hold on a second. I think they should be in 3 different colors. And he's like, so you want to do more work than I'm asking you to do? Absolutely. Because I do believe you should outperform people's expectations.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And sometimes it's a simple life lesson. It's being a little nicer than people think. Like just take... For example, a guy comes in. Have you had the benefit of doing a dark match in WWE?
One time.
One time, it's a terrifying experience,
Yes.
right? I don't care how many times you've torn it down at indie shows, and I have all the respect in the world for indie guys because to go out there on a different place, different audience, without like the Pavlovian response to your music, your finishing moves, it's pretty harrowing. And when you're there by yourself and they give you a locker room that says extras, and you can feel so worthless. I remember it was like when Roddy Piper went out of his way to say hello to me, when Bundy did, and I was like, hey, if I ever get to be in a position where I can make someone's day a little easier, I'm going to do that. And I wish some of the guys would remember that this is one of the most terrifying moments of somebody's life, and just taking a 1 minute out of your day to go over and make that person feel a little more at home in this crazy world can be something they remember for a long time. So I do. I try to outperform, whether it's me and you telling stories, and of course we want to raise money. And I'm not kidding when I say I was hurt by the... Really?
I think you made the right decision. I would have done the same.
I
thing.
am going to wear that thing. I'm going to
That
lose
should be
weight.
your motivation
That's
to
be my
lose
mo-
weight.
I'm going
to
to wear
fit
it.
into it.
I'm going to wear it.
Brian Kanabrowski at 5:25.
Okay. Are we
Okay.
doing Are we doing the 1 minute countdown?
We could do 60 seconds here.
Okay.
Say, all right.
Well, we're gonna put it on the hard cam because it kind of wakes people up when I put it right here and take it off my closed camera. So we're closer to settling the auction on it. So 525 is where we're at right now. Let us know if you're in or you're out. The way to let you know that you're in is you go higher than 525. If you're out, let us know that you're out, and then we'll put on 6 clock, then a 30-second clock, then 10-second basket.
Jake, one inside story about the peanut butter falcon.
Please.
And we do it, according to script, the first, second, third time. Then, hey, I want to try something a little different. And I'm trying to get Jake to break character. Because Jake, as Samson, he's got a cigarette. The butt on the thing's got to be about this long, right? I don't know, what do you call it, the burnt end? Ash. The ash got to be hanging off like this. And I'm doing my rendition of a ring announcer, and I'm trying to get Jake to pop. And I was going, Samson, I want you to know that I spoke to Sam Elliott, and Sam told me he wants his mustache back. And Jake won't pop at all, right? Nothing at all. Now, when I go into the theater to see the movie, they cut to Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson away from the ring. But as they're talking in the car, in the background, you see me with the megaphone, and I'll be darned if the line, Sam told me he wants his mustache back, is in the movie. So listen for that. In no way is that in the script. Sam told me he wants his mustache back. It's not in there, but it's just a little story.
That's a good story.
I don't think you believed that when you said it.
Oh, no, I meant it.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I thought you were tying it into his mustache.
you gotta.
He has
a
a
lot
nice
of
mustache.
there's a lot of things that get tied into this mustache from time to time.
All right, let's do the countdown here. Let's set the bell about that.
Brian
All
Kanabrowski.
right, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brian Kanabrowski, $525.
Woo.
Peanut butter falcon.
All right.
There it is. Yay. All right, where are we going to go next, Mick? We got a very limited.
We got-
me out of the scene, Dad,
Yeah,
so you
one,
can take
two,
over.
Yeah. 3. Do we think we have time for these?
We got all the time in the world.
All right, let's go with this.
Okay,
This
I'm
is.
gonna go
All
now.
right, thanks, honey. Appreciate it.
Bye.
This is vintage.
Oh, it is.
1992 WCW Cactus. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it's got a lot of my biggest matches of
Yep.
that era in it, and my wife made the shirt for me.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a black spandex material, but my wife sewed it. She put the tiger stripe on it, and you could go back and watch any number of matches that I had in WCW where I'm wearing this bad boy. So maybe, I was up over 300 pounds at that time. Maybe in retrospect, shiny black spandex was not the best choice for me.
Slimming. It's slimming.
Later it's satin. Satin is the slimming fabric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen many pictures of you dropping an elbow down with this.
Wearing that shirt.
Wearing that shirt. I mean, like, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, yep, recognize that
Yeah,
one right
yeah.
away. For sure.
And
I mean,
so-
no explanation whatsoever.
There's only a couple of those type of shirts. I think there's 3 left. I probably had 7 or 8 total, and one is with WWE. A couple have been sold, and I just came across this, like I said, a little treasure trove of things I didn't even know I had. This one wasn't in the WWE warehouse. It was in that box of goodies along with my WrestleMania WrestleMania flannel along with the boots, and oh no, the boots were at the warehouse, but it was in a box of things I wasn't even aware I still had. So it's like found treasure.
Tim Jameson values that treasure at $800, currently the high bid.
All right,
Right away.
good.
Hey, great jumping off point right away. $800 for this nice.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should throw in the singlet as part
Okay.
of a combo. There.
All right, we're gonna do the combo. We're gonna put them together now, kind of, double
That
down.
would have been the one I was wearing at the time.
Okay.
It would have been the one. And you can see where I've generously, Manscow, you can
Yes.
see where, to accommodate my growing frame, I would then start snipping up higher and higher on
Yeah.
the hip, taking the scissors to it,
Ah, I see. Yeah.
cutting out to accommodate the ample Foley hips.
Yes.
There you go. And
Your hips don't lie. You couldn't tell any more lies the longer you went in the business. So many lies were being fed to you in WCW in Memphis that you're like, I have no more room for lies. My hips can't tell any. I can't take anymore. I need to cut this out because my hips cannot lie.
there you go.
So, but yeah, this will come with it as well. So,
And that was a great, that was a great period for me. I was on a bus trip to the Great American Bash, 1991. I'd had 6 months of international TV with WCW, where the Cactus Jack thing was starting to get over. Kevin Sullivan and I were part of Sullivan's Slaughterhouse. Ole Anderson came in as a booker. He was not a big fan of mine, and in retrospect, it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me, because I gave my notice because I saw the writing on the wall. I met my wife shortly after I left WCW the first time. She really thought I was capable of doing more and better, and encouraged me to have a more serious approach. She thought I was falling back on the comedic stuff, and so with my wife's help, I really began believing in the type of character I could be. And when I came back in the summer, to that Great American Bash, word had already been getting out. It's really, I look up to guys like the Young Bucks and Cody, guys who come off of national television and make themselves a bigger name without the so-called machine behind them, whether the machine was TNA, whether the machine was is WWE, or in my case, WCW. The stuff I did with Eddie Gilbert on the Independents really started putting me on the map.
that 3 stages of
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
match.
So that when I showed up at the Great American Bash, I remember Barry Windham saying, listen, if you talk to Dusty, you could end up getting a job out of this. So here I am, first time I meet Dusty, and he's like a larger-than-life presence, but the company was like on a little downslide. I talked to him. They got in touch with me a few weeks later. I started going to TV, and so that was like the renewed Cactus. And I found, again, by covering up, I wasn't, the cover-up did a lot for me, because I was no longer concerned with how I looked. I was more concerned about that character. And my wife was making my stuff for me, and I was really hitting my stride and had, like I said, some of the best matches of my career. I believe I wore that against Paul Orndorff, one of the big matches against Leon White. Chances are, if I had a big match, I had, like I said, 3 or 4 or 5 different shirts, but I wore that a lot, like probably 60, 70 matches while I was there. So it's got a lot of history, and it wouldn't take much for somebody to look up the matches on TV and see me wearing that shirt.
We have 3 people that have bid over $1,000 right now, and Tim Jameson's currently at $1,600.
Whoa.
That escalated quickly. If you were
That makes up for the
everything else.
that makes up for that the hurt I found at the expense of that jacket there.
But let's talk about it. Your wife sewed this for. Let's talk about the support
Yeah.
that you've gotten from your wife over the years.
Yeah, it's been important. This is something I talked about a little bit. I used to call this promo land. It's where I would kind of escape the real world, and I'd find this place, not a physical place, but in my head where I'd go. And a lot of the time it was at the gym. I don't know what it was about the gym. I'm not claiming I got any bigger or stronger at Sting and Luger's gym in Atlanta, but my wife would see my fingers start to tremble, and I'd have this, like, my tells where my right fingers start shaking, my right eye would start blinking, and my wife said people would be staring at me because it looked like I was in a trance. And then she'd go, "You're cutting promos, aren't you?" And I'd be like, "What?" "Oh, yeah, I guess I was." Because I was just always trying to think of ways to make those promos better.
I'm the same exact way at the gym. I always blame it on pre-workout. Like I'm always like, and then and sometimes I forget like that there are people there. Like sometimes there's usually nobody at my gym.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going like this, and then all of a sudden there's times where like somebody walked in and I forgot about it, and then I'm this.
Look,
and I'm like,
Jake, this is going to be tough for me to tell you. The people you work with here at Highspots, they're tired of your protein. They're tired of that egg in your oatmeal.
They are. They
And
really
the
are.
peanut butter. They say it smells disgusting. All right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Did I do you guys a serious
Oh,
favor?
are you the complaint department
Yes.
now?
Dude.
And Chelsea has been great to work with. Come on in here. How awesome was we were working together for like 8 hours today.
8 hours today.
Something like that.
And I don't think I'd ever met you before, right?
No, sir.
And I was masked up the whole time, right? Like now we're on the air, and I still think this is the coolest COVID mask, right? Tom Savini made this bad boy. I
It is
love
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's pretty cool. It's got a filter on the inside and everything.
But I'd say those 8 hours we spent together, 6.5 of them were spent with her complaining about the stuff you
Burying me the
It's
entire
so
time.
gross. It's so gross and it smells awful.
It tastes so good though. I
Oh,
remind
really?
you,
You
it
put
does.
an egg in there, a raw egg.
Oh no, yeah, I'll eat them at the same time. It's so good. That peanut butter oatmeal with the hard-boiled egg. Throw away the yolks. Nobody wants those.
It's
Well, a hard-boiled egg or a raw egg?
Hard-boiled.
Okay, all right, it's different.
Still
Okay.
gross.
It's
gross.
hard-boiled
Still
egg.
gross.
It's like white Jello. That's what I always
It's
say.
disgusting.
Ruins peanut butter. For
And you
everyone.
smell it every single morning.
Every morning.
I might try that.
It's good.
I believe you did that and mixed it in with half a package of Muddy Buddies. You'd be onto something, yeah. So I'll tell you what, maybe we can even break out your hot pot or whatever you use to cook, and then Noelle get the Muddy Buddies. We'll mix them in. I believe the peanut butter and the Muddy Buddies plain off. I could be onto something, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
All right, let's put this on a 60-second clock just to
Okay.
get this thing moving.
Okay, 6-second clock. We're gonna get it moving. We're gonna put it to the hard camera. Right. What number are we at right now, Mike?
We're sitting at 16.
$1,600 for the top and the singlet as
Tim
well.
Jameson.
Tim.
Very high-end collector. Tim
Very
Jameson.
high
Where's
end
Tim
collector.
located at?
Indiana.
Is Indiana?
Wait, Tim. If I notice Tim's the guy I visited with the WWE show, right?
It's possible. He's got some.
Tim,
he's got
I'm
one
sorry.
Of the nicest.
Did you go to
geared-
Hobart, Indiana?
Yes,
That's
Tim. It's
it.
Mick. So,
Tim, it's Jake. If you didn't know who I am.
sorry about that, Tim. It's Mick. Tim has an amazing collection, and I don't know if I'm giving away something on the reality show. Tim was ready to walk away without parting with his. I can't give away the ending.
Yeah.
But we had to. Yeah, all right. Tim loves his collection, and he's got an amazing collection, and that thing's going to look really good. Thank you, Tim.
Jackson Miller just came in with $1,750.
Oh.
We're going to verify Jackson is a account holder because Jackson is a new name to me. But
Especially when we get this high, we got to make sure they have a highspotsauctions.com account because we need to invoice you.
Jackson Miller would need to have a High Spots auction account. We can give him a few minutes.
Okay, Jackson, you need to get yourself a highspotsauctions.com account to verify that bid. Just when we get to this number, we got to make sure that you have a highspotsauctions.com account so you can get invoiced for this because we will invoice this as soon as you win it. So, Jackson, we're going to give you a few minutes to go log on to highspotsauctions.com, create a free account, free, absolutely free, takes mere minutes, and you create that account so you can be this auction winner. So.
Also, a couple people asking, after we wrap up here, we will do a abbreviated version of bestsellers.
Yes, we will.
Will not take a whole hour to do. We'll probably-
Absolutely not. I'm going to burn through them as fast as possible, give another look of everything because some of these items showed up at 10 a.m. and now we're going to bring them out at 10 p.m. So not everybody got up early, but I'm going to give everybody a chance who slept in, everybody that's coming back from trick-or-treating and Halloween. We're going to run through them. They're ready to go. It'll
And,
go
and a
fast.
couple of items that we didn't even get to that I'm just going to sneak in, like that mask, for example, right there.
Okay.
We'll
Get that. We'll get through some other items as well, and maybe even plug some of the stuff that's still on highspotsauctions.com.
Michael, who did have the lead bid on that sports scope?
Well, I'm
before
gonna
COVID?
talk to you about that off camera because a private bid came in for $800 from a very good customer of mine. I said I'd talk to you about it off
Okay.
camera.
All right. Okay.
Not walking away. And right now, this thing isn't walking away just quite yet. It's top, singlet top.
All right. How many seconds do we have on that bad boy?
Well, we're waiting for Jackson to create an account. Has Jackson created an account yet,
I
Joshua?
don't see a Jackson Miller at all yet.
Okay, because if not, we'll give it about a minute or two. And if he doesn't, then it'll go back to Tim Jameson, and then we'll settle it up that way. So.
And just to be clear, Tim's last bid. Well, Tim is at 1,800, so Tim would get it.
Okay, Tim's back on top, so we're gonna go with 6.
Okay, yeah, Jackson Miller is out.
Jackson Miller's out. Tim's in.
Tim, you are the man.
Tim, you're the man. You want to go ahead and put it on a 30-second clock right now, Michael?
10 seconds.
10-second clock. We ain't messing around. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. I'm sorry it took a while for that name to ring a bell with me. But as soon as Indiana, Hobart, Indiana, yes, I've been at Tim's home. Amazing collection, and that's going to make a nice piece in it. Speaking of amazing,
This
right there, summoning Gordon Soley.
These marionettes, I always get tangled up. I had a nice marionette, and I've always...
It's the only Foley marionette, and man, it's gonna hurt the man who made it. He's a marionette master, and it was in the Foley family Christmas room for over 10 years.
had a good run.
Handmade out of wood. It's a one-of-a-kind work of art.
Yep.
He has made marionettes for many stars who come. It's one of the maritime cities in eastern Canada. Can't remember the exact. Maybe Nova Scotia. I'm not sure. Maybe some clarification. And I packed up, and I no longer have a Christmas room. And so this little fellow will be in a box for years to come, unless he's rescued. Consider it the Island of Misfit Toys section of the Foley collection. But it's really cool, one of a kind, handmade, and it could be make a really good home.
All right, I'm gonna just put a high spot. I know people hate it when high spots bids on things. I'm gonna put a bid of $550 out there.
Wow.
I'm not gonna outbid everybody. I'm not gonna get a thing, but if you don't want it more than $550, I do. $550 for this.
Thank you.
If someone else wants to outbid me, I'm not gonna get in a bidding war. But that's my offer.
Okay, well that's what it is. Michael Bikikio, he's putting a bid of $550. He will not outbid you. So if you come in at $555, then you'll fight with everybody else. But you got to get the $550, or you got to get above $550 if you want this thing. Because Michael Bikikio is putting it out there. It's getting Christmas time. I'm sure Christy would love to have this sitting next to the tree.
Oh, this would be in my office. Forget it.
Okay, all right. I was trying to recognize your wife, but if you don't want to recognize her, that's fine.
Well, I've already been outbid by Rob Mack at $575.
$575. So Michael is completely out. He's not
sorry.
gonna bounce back around. But Rob Mack, he's sitting at $575. So here's a wonderful opportunity to pick up this wonderful Mick Foley marionette. So we've been around each other a lot, and you've always talked. It's the world now knows about your love of Santa Claus and Christmas. Where does that come from? Is there a moment that just you realize that I'm a Christmas person? Where does that come from with you?
You know what? My mom, I saw these like 27 stacks of carousel slides that no one looks at anymore. I think the last time we watched slides together as a family was 1980, right? So it's 40 years ago. So what I did for Christmas for my mom is I took all these slides and I had them made into photos. Now the lady at the photo place sat with me because I'd been her Santa for 4 years for free. I was just looking to get experience and photos. So she was able to sit with me, and I was like, okay, one of those photos, 2, 3, and I had photo albums made for me, my mom, my brother, and including these photos I'd never seen from 1968 and 1969 when my parents took me to Santa's Village in Jefferson, New Hampshire. Now, my daughter forgot to mention, she's talking about how much we love Christmas, that just yesterday we were at Santa's Land in Cherokee, North Carolina, and really had a nice time there. But there was who knows? There was something about that place that connected with me to the point where when I got older and had children of my own, I wanted to bring them there. And so I was on the road, like Noelle said, up to 300 days a year when you count the travel days back home. So it usually took me about 8 hours to get back home. That's a work day.
Yeah.
So once you say, all right, you get 208 shows a year, plus your 12 pay-per-views, now you're up to 230, plus your 12 or 15 media days, 245, plus 50 travel days coming home, plus your 10 or 15 days a year when you may have had to leave the day before, you're up close to 300. And so the way that I made being away a little easier was by finding things to look forward to. And because when it came to Christmas, this is just me speculating, I've got no proof of this, it's just my gut feeling, sometimes we wouldn't be done until the 23rd of December, and there were times when we worked on Christmas Day. So you would come home, you'd be worn out, you had a very short time to celebrate Christmas. And I remember there was like 3 years in a row where we'd open up our presents in Atlanta, and by noon I was out the door to work a Smoky Mountain show that night. And the way we made Christmas more special for the family was by kind of prolonging the season, looking forward to it for months at a time. Al Snow has this conversation he remembers vividly when I said, Al, ask Noelle where she's going next week. And Al said, Noelle, where are you going next week? And there was this hesitation, and she went, Santa Woolwich. And so they've just always gone with me. We always loved it. We always looked forward to it. And then I found, since I had a chance to put on the red suit myself, that I'm able to create memories for people. Able to take all the things I learned in wrestling about, portraying characters with authenticity and try to put it together into that character, which is also actually closer to who I want to be than the wrestling characters were. I love doing all. There were elements of all of them in me. And if the guys saw me doing my cameo videos backstage, where I'm fooling around and I'm finding the goofy things I loved about Dude Love or about Mankind, and kind of portraying those characters even on cameos, and I love doing it. But there was something about portraying that figure that meant so much to me when I was a child, and then being able to make people's childhoods special, and just as importantly, remind adults of what it felt like to be a child. What in wrestling, we live for the pop, right? Like there's this pop, Road Warrior pop thing. When you're putting on that red suit, you're trying to create what we call a Santa moment, and that's essentially when you turn an adult into a child, and they momentarily forget every problem they have going on in their life, and they just remember what it was like to be young and innocent and have this night they're looking forward to. And so I try to recreate that. I do. There was this scene where my youngest son Huey was my elf for a few years, and we drove away from the house after a Christmas Eve visit, and we get a text message from the family, from the father. And it's not an overestimation or an exaggeration to say he is about as happy as he will ever be in his life. You've created that for him. And I said to Huey, I feel like I just had a big pay-per-view match. And he looks at me and goes, but Dad, there were only 3 people there. I said, it doesn't matter. It's just about creating that moment. And I look now, segueing into what so many of the performers are doing in front of empty arenas. And they're putting every bit as much into those matches as they would be if they were at Madison Square Garden or at WrestleMania. And so I think when you love performing, and when you love the idea of telling stories and creating memories for people, it doesn't matter how many people are there. And if you're older and you can no longer drop elbows, and you don't just want to be a caricature of yourself, by going back into that same venue, that there are other outlets for telling those stories. I feel really fortunate to be able to come on here and entertain people while I'm making more money than I made in, 4 months in Memphis, by giving away stuff, and I'm selling stuff that would have lived out its days in a box. So I'm really grateful that people grant me that opportunity to try different things, even if they're not interested in the stuff I'm doing. They love the way I made them feel when they were younger, and that's why I think people want some of these things, because it's a reminder of the way they felt when they were in that age, when you made an impression on them.
Absolutely, and I think this is why I've always connected with you, because I've always been kind of a closet Christmas kid.
Yeah.
Like my dad got all of my grandmother's Christmas lights, the screw-in bulb.
Yeah.
And he goes, here, son, if you want to, decorate the garage, but you're not allowed to do the house because, we want the house to look nice. So Clark Griswold our garage, and my parents let me just have the entire afternoon.
Clark Griswold, Noelle, can you run and get my hat from my bag?
Where is it?
The bag is in, it's that burgundy bag.
Oh, with the antlers?
Yeah, the one with the antlers. Okay.
So they left to go Christmas shopping. They left me alone with a ladder and a staple gun, and we live out in the country. And they said that they were coming back home, and they're like,
which country did you live in?
Jackson County, actually, middle of nowhere, Iowa, a town of 82 people. And they were coming over a hill close to her house, and why does it look like our house is on fire? It's like there's this radiating light, and they came home, and I had put up all of these Christmas lights all over our garage in such a concentrated effort that they could see from miles away.
Did they like it?
They were a little taken aback. They were very happy that they gave me the restriction of just decorating the garage and not the house, but we had the best looking garage.
And then you did it. Oh, that's awesome. See, I stopped decorating outside.
Yeah.
You know how my daughter vouched for me like 2 F-bombs, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean those are the only ones I've used. Those are the only ones I've heard.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what? In no way, shape, or form. I was like, 315 at the time. My hair was down past here. A legit 6'4". I was like, in no way, shape, or form there's a 6'4", 315-pound guy with hair down past his shoulders yelling curse words on a ladder add to anybody's Christmas experience. Here we go. Wally World, Dad. Signed by Beverly D'Angelo, no less.
Oh, you actually got to meet her. I remember you were talking about like, hey, I was going to meet up with Beverly D'Angelo last time we talked.
That's right. So there is Wally World, Dad. Pretty exciting, right? How are we doing on the Marriott?
Yeah, how are we doing on the bids, Michael?
He snuck in $25 above me, $5.75, and that's where we're at. We'll put this on 60 seconds and make sure there's no one else out there.
60-second
I wish
clock.
I would have said 6 now.
Yeah, you wanted to say 6, Michael, but you're missing out. Rob Mack has got this for $5.75.
And I'm going to throw in a version without even looking at the lyrics. Here's Mick Foley doing I've Got No Strings from the Pinocchio soundtrack. Ready?
No.
I've got no strings to hold me down, to tie me up, to weigh me down. Those aren't the words, are they? I've got no strings on me. Hi-oh, the dairy-o. Oh, my daughter's hiding her head. First
No, I'm
tear of
not.
shame has fallen down her cheek.
No, Dad, I'm just thinking to myself, you've got to be the biggest nerd in wrestling.
You think so?
Yep.
Edge is a pretty big nerd.
I don't think he's dancing to Pinocchio.
You don't know that for a fact, though, do you?
You-
Want me to
you-
give him a call and see if he can out-nerd me? I believe he can.
You have not seen my podcast room wall where I have X-Men comic books for an entire wallpaper, so
Ooh, there's a lot of nerds.
there's a lot of nerds.
Hey, when the Attitude Era was going strong, right? This was a defining moment. I remember going out there and like trying to cut a promo instead of just doing catchphrases. And I did drop an F-bomb. I came back in and Paul Bear was like, calm down, Mommy. So I called him Uncle Paul. He called me Mommy. It's a long story. And I was like, F them, Uncle Paul. Like, they're not ready. They can't listen. They don't have the attention span to listen to everything. They want to pop every 8 seconds. And I just was watching what was going on. I was like, I know the audience is not as hip and cool as we are leading people to believe. I know there's a lot more of me out there than there are of them. The cool, tough characters. As soon as I dialed up the nerd dial, brother, things started happening for me. That's no joke either. I was like, everybody was looking at what Steve was doing, Austin, and thinking how they could emulate that. And I was like, there's a whole path to this side for a little goofier character. And I still had like the main event gravitas, so it wasn't like I was trying to make my way, through humor. But I also was coming off that cell match, where I was like, I can't do the stuff I used to do. I've got to find a way to connect. And that nerdy stuff, brother, it worked like a charm. So, I take that as a compliment, first of all. I could be one of the larger nerds out there.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, let's see if we got a large winner in Rob Mack for
Rob's
5
stealing it right under me. Good job, Rob.
Rob stole it. We're going to make it official. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we're going to invoice you for this auction win, Rob. But don't worry, we'll add all your other items to that particular invoice. But we need you to pay this one immediately. And if you want Mick to sign it, let us know. But that kind of does it for the Foley auction.
We did it.
We did it, Mick.
Did it.
We will be doing best sellers here
I
just
did
a
it.
little bit.
I'm a winner.
We're going to clean things up. We'll do best sellers. We'll do a very
Hold on,
abbreviated.
you might have 2 titles, but you don't have 2 slammies because I'm a winner.
But Mick, thank you so much.
Let me just say something a little off camera. So you guys don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. Mick has been here since 10 a.m. Signing each and everything that we put in front of him that came from you guys. I can tell you, guys of Mick's stature don't do that. Okay, we deal with guys of all levels. Most of the guys have a 2 or 3 hour attention span, and they're not even happy with it. Mick hasn't complained one time, and he's been here
Not
for
that
you
you
guys
heard,
for
at
12
least.
hours. And on top of that, Mick drove all the way down here,
That's right. Yeah, I
and he's
did.
driving all the way back. So, and he's doing this for us and for you, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it. And again, it's really a credit to promoters, the fans, to care enough to find a way to for us to be out there selling stuff that it means more to you than it does to us, and we really appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you, Mick. We're going to put up the graphic for a few seconds, and then we're going to come out with bestsellers in just a few minutes. We're going to go into overtime on this. Luckily, we rebooted the computer before we started this, so give us a few seconds to clean up, and then we'll put bestsellers out and run right through, and then end this sellathon. The Foley Family Halloween. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hard to train, and like they just don't want to do anything that you ever command them to do. So my dog literally just runs my house.
Yeah.
Just runs my
He's
house.
the boss.
Happy Halloween!
Hey!
Happy Halloween! I'm Frank the Clown!
Oh, what's up, Frank?
I'm Frank the Clown!
You scared the crap out of me.
That's because I'm Frank the Clown!
You do
I
not
scare
look like
everybody.
Frank, when did you get in?
I just flew in from Milwaukee, and my arms are killing me. Whoa! I'm Frank the Clown! I'm not clowning around here, Noelle. I'm here to wish you a happy
Frank
birthday.
the Clown, why don't you have a rainbow wig?
I lost the rainbow wig. I decided to go natural. I
And
think it
you're
looks
It looks
redhead.
good on you. I like
I
it.
think I'm a redhead. I think it looks great. I'm wearing my gimmick shirt. I'm trying to push my stuff here. I just want to assert that I've taken some amazing bumps with Joey Janela, even won the respect of the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and I'm just so glad I could be here to be part of your Halloween. Happy Halloween! I'm Frank the Clown.
Bye, Frank the Clown. Thank you so much.
See ya, Frank. See you later.
Thank you so much for
I don't
coming
know
in.
about you, but Frank the Clown seems bigger than I last saw him.
Hey, man, he's been working out. Alright. Any other takers on this Maria Kanellis promo?
Nope.
No. All right, we're gonna move right along here.
But see what I mean when I say I get scared very easily?
Yes, you jumped. I saw.
didn't
and-
even
and
see him.
The funny part is I saw him coming, and I was like, "Oh, she has no idea. This is gonna be great. Oh, so fantastic." All right, we have an 8x10 of Camille from
I
NWA.
think Frank the Clown is coming
Frank the
back.
Clown.
He wants more camera time.
Noelle, I
Camille?
heard you talking about Mr. Foley's two papillons, Randall and Wuffle, and they're adorable, but they're not housebroken. A little story I heard from Mr. Foley, the hardcore legend Mick
Yeah.
Foley,
Yeah, do tell.
is that when the first cut of Holy Foley was shown, Mr. McMahon saw it first, and Mr. McMahon's feedback was, more Randall. He wanted more Randall, which is why if you go
That's
watch
great.
the
That's
episodes of Holy
fantastic.
Foley, Randall's in every episode.
That's
Even if he's not in it,
fantastic.
they have him barking. They just have edits of him coming in there.
And
Mr.
I think it was
McMahon,
because Randall's pooping on the ground.
Mr. McMahon loves poop. He like-
He loves poop.
it's well known that I hated being a commentator. I hated being cursed at. Didn't like F-bombs being thrown at me over my headsets. And the one time I told a story about my kids taking away my fart gun, and I started making sounds on the thing, and I did it throughout the course of a match. And I went back, Mr. McMahon, I hope you're not angry with me about doing the. There's never enough farting on this show. So that he was cool with that. All
That's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vince McMahon also loves farts.
I'm Frank the Clown.
Farts and poops. Bye, Frank the Clown.
I think I'm going to send Vince McMahon a tweet
Yes.
about farts and poops.
Yes.
15, I don't want someone to be
Yes.
confused.
Sorry. Yes.
Oh, no. Looks like Frank the Clown has had a rough day. Come in here, Frank. Come on.
What's going on, Frank?
It's been a rough day for me. Yeah, it's been a rough day.
I could tell.
Mr. Foley.
You look very tired.
I am so tired.
Are you slaving away?
I've been in the back.
I know.
This, by the way, this
Yeah.
is actually Noah's dad, Mick. I'm not,
Oh, thank goodness you let them know.
Cat's out of the bag.
I'm not going to be on in a little while. I just want to know some of the conversations in the back. We did have a funny story about Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
About what a great he was. He was really professional. You want me to tell the story?
Sure, go ahead.
It's not disparaging or anything. Noelle was. This was
Okay.
12 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have been 14. And
Around-
a very young Sasha Banks was there too with Snoop Dogg, and she would have been like 10, right? 10 or 11 or 12, right?
Something like
Right.
that.
Only found out years later that Sasha was there too, and WWE likes to do their pre-tapes over and over, and Snoop did like 5 takes with me, Festus, and Snoop. And every
Festus.
time Snoop does a take, he does it differently, but he nails it. Like he doesn't use the same words each time. And then after like the 5th take, he just says out loud, "Feels like money, smells like money," and he walked away. And we all
Must
went,
be money.
I guess that's the take, That was his way of saying, I'm not standing for this WWE nonsense anymore. That was
Good.
good, and we all know it. But one of the things we talked about was that young man, I think his name was Josh, who had that horrible injury.
Yes.
And it's terrible. I mean, it's good that the video is taken down because it was so graphic. But
Right.
he broke both his legs to the point where he's possibly facing an amputation.
Yes.
And I know some of the guys in the wrestling business have gotten behind it. Chris Jericho donated a couple $1,000s. And so I have this book. This is one of the things I hate to part with. It's Bret the Hitman's autobiography, and it's made out to me.
Yes.
So it's historic in the sense that there's only one like it. So it's to Mick. Thanks for being a real friend, Bret. And we're going to add that to the auction at 8 p.m.
All right.
But 100% of the money that this book goes in will go to that young man's GoFundMe.
Okay.
He's at like $18,000 total, but he's going to need $200,000. You know,
Wow.
like he doesn't have
Wow.
insurance. And so it's our way of making a difference as a wrestling community. So
That
that
is
one
so
will
great.
be up for
Thank you
sale.
so
That's
much.
really
It's
nice of you.
slightly
Very
stained,
nice
but
of
it's the Hitman made it out to me. I would hate to part with it, you know, for profit, but I will part with it. So instead of being in a box in storage, it's contributing to somebody's medical bill. So keep that in mind. We have
Absolutely.
other cool things as well. You got the ring. Remember how much I loved that sports coat?
Wait,
That-
which one?
The custom made
Oh,
flannel
the
one.
tie dye.
No,
Or-
it was the flannel one that I
Oh,
wore when I
flannel
was
one,
at
yeah.
that one
Raw
is a
GM.
nice
It's-
one.
The
Guys, it's
WrestleMania
great. It's
2000
fabulous.
best, second
It
pair of
is.
boots. I don't want to infringe. I know this is ladies'
No.
hour.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
Dad, you need to dress up
You're
as
fine.
lady if
All
you want to
right.
come in here.
Well, I might do that.
I
Don't
would
put it
I would
back
pay
there.
money just to
Okay.
do that.
All right, we'll see
Then
you.
we can sing.
Thank you so much.
We can sing. Dude looks like a lady.
You can sing it. I don't think they want to hear me sing.
No, my voice is horrible.
I'll
I
let
sound
you
like
go
a
for
dying
it.
cow.
Yeah, don't.
So I could see that, but I still like them.
Don't.
I like a lot of things, like baby food. I love
Hold on.
I love it.
Baby food.
It's like the easiest way to eat healthy.
Dude,
Oh,
looks
God.
like a lady. Dude, looks
You
like
some
a lady.
hard
Oh, I'm
jugs.
packing. Yes. Ooh, is this Dude Love Sister? And I'm here to talk about ladies wrestling.
Dude
I am
looks like a
styling and
lady.
profiling myself.
He's
Dude,
styling and
dude,
profiling.
Dude's
Hey.
a homely
Hey,
lady.
dude, you got some Triple H's.
Oh, daddy.
Triple H's.
Oh, sister, I know it. Oh, I'm having so much fun being a lady out here. Ooh, hoping.
What's your favorite part about being a lady?
Ooh,
These
I get to do
knockers.
this all day. I never even leave the house. That's why you never see me. I'm in my house all day, just going like this and saying, dude, do that. Do you feel good? Do you feel good to the touch? Ooh, I like to
Feel good to
swirl
the
around my areolas. Oh, ow, have mercy.
I need a
The
second.
swirling around the old areolas got me.
I need a second.
What does he have under there? Oh, wait, bring those over. This was Dude Loves Areolas.
Get some Al Snow.
I'm sorry.
What does everybody need? Areolas.
He's not in the room. I don't know where he's going to be, but let's bring out Mick Foley, Have a Nice Day book signed. It'd be really nice if Mick was here just to kind of.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! Mick is here. Mick, we're selling your signed Have a Nice Day book.
We make things happen here, right here at Highspots.
That's right, your signed book. Have a nice day. We're selling this right now for $40 right now, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not a bad deal.
It's a bad deal. It's an amazing book signed by Mick himself, as you can see right here. Real love child of yours, this book right here.
I gave birth to it. Like I was parenting that book, right?
Yeah.
And it was a landmark book because before that, no one had thought that. I remember the idea when I pitched the idea to Judith Regan that I would write my own book. It was just stunned silence because at that time it was considered unthinkable that any athlete, you know, let alone a wrestler, was going to write their own book. And I was like, hey, what if I just start writing and see if you like it? You know what I did, Hulkster? I went up into the top level of the Tallahassee Civic Center. I wrote for about 3 hours. I read it to some of the guys in the dressing room. Stone Cold was always my biggest proponent. You know, the point where like, hey kid, you got some more of that book I can read?
I really dig that book.
And he would be up there in first class. I'd be back at like 26C by the crapper. He had those big lat muscles. He'd be laughing. They'd be shaking. You know, it was really a way to connect with people that didn't involve me losing my teeth in a cell match or you know, doing damage to my body in other ways. So, thanks Hulkster for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm going to be popping in and out throughout the day.
Yes.
And then at 8 o'clock, the big Foley auction with some of my career memorabilia.
Yes, I believe you even have like a manuscript of Countdown to Lockdown. So we're selling right now the autographed copy of Have a Nice Day for $40. Just type the word sold, Have a Nice Day, 40. But you guys can bid on the manuscript copy of Countdown to Lockdown, and actually we have the finished product, so we'll include that with
that in there.
We'll throw that in there.
Sign that bad for you. And a really interesting piece, Hulkster, is I played a small but pivotal role in the great movie The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yes.
And I have a package that was given to me by the directors who wrote the movie for this young man, Zach Gottsagen, who they had met at a camp for kids and adults with special needs. And they presented it to me to see if I'd be interested. So it's got not only the script, but still shots, storyboards. I think there was only about 10 of them made, and it's a beloved movie, and I'm auctioning that off. And we'll donate the proceeds of that. I'll find out what Zach's charity is, whether it's Special Olympics or whatever. We'll make sure all the money from that one goes to a good cause.
Absolutely, we'll definitely. And and thank you so much for being a part of this good cause here today at the High Spot Sellathon. Thank you for coming out on cue. I was worried about selling this book without you, but you're
what
here.
What about a little pose off?
Little pose off? Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, and you got one of these right there. Double gun right there.
Nailed it. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. And as Mick goes off, just to remind you guys about the Foley Trick or Treat bag, which is available throughout the day. And all of a sudden, better put your shirt size when you type the words "sold Foley Trick or Treat bag."
Sold JSA Drew McIntyre purple entrance 40. That is sold JSA Drew McIntyre entrance 40.
Here?
Oh, hey, Dad.
You're not the real Frank the Clown.
Dude, no, I'm totally Frank.
Hey.
How can you not tell?
Hey, I know Frank the Clown. Frank the Clown is a friend of mine, and you, sir, you are no Frank the Clown.
I could be.
Frank the Clown doesn't wear Mickey Mouse. This whole thing is fake. How can you look at yourself in the mirror? You're a disgrace. You're trying to live off the hard work that Frank did.
Look, but I got the suit though. The suit, the glasses, the makeup.
It takes more than glasses and makeup to be Frank the Clown.
The hair?
The hair doesn't look anything like Frank the Clown. Why, I may have to come out of retirement just to teach you a lesson in respect. And in the meantime, this is the coolest COVID mask you've ever seen, right? Do we have agreement here? Yes. This is Tom Savini. Right, hold on, I'm going to just put you on hold here for a second. I can resume the hatred any second now. I'm not sure my promo was completely believable anyway. So it takes a while to get into mode, right? You can't just turn it on and off. I can turn on and off Dude and Man and Mankind mask, but I can't get the anger sound legitimate anymore. But anyway, Tom Savini, a horror master, makeup artist extraordinaire, the man who did the Bray Wyatt mask. He's made a series of these COVID masks so you can look scary and be socially responsible at the same time. So this is the Hardcore Legend, and I'm going to be back throughout the day. My daughter will be here at 4. She'll know right away you're not Frank the Clown, by the way. And look at this goodie bag, the Foley Trick or Treat Special. $60. Small price to pay for the smile we'll put on the face of you or a loved one. And then I'll be back at 8 p.m. with an auction of some of my coolest career items. Have a nice day. Yeah.
I love you, Dad.
Don't ever say that again.
I love him. Hopefully he will pay for the whole wedding, because I cannot right now, because Michael's not paying me enough to do this. All right. Nope. We're going to act like that didn't happen. All right. We're moving on to this. Awesome. I forgot where we were at. By the way, did Mick Foley just come out here and call me his son-in-law? He was confused. I know that he didn't know it was me. He thinks it's Frank.
Sorry, guys. I just saw the most beautiful thing walking through the door. Oh my God, that is fantastic. Wait until you see the Man Scout, guys. This is fantastic. I feel like that should be your new aesthetic, Jake.
Yeah. Pay attention to fine arts and less attention.
Fine art. Oh, you're wearing that.
Yep. All
All right, guys. We're gonna start off this next time, but I was mentioning Man Scout has 2 great guests, and one of them is our usual co-host and best friend of the show, and that is Heath, Impact Star, who recently had a tumble, but he's doing great. Talked to him this morning. He's doing fantastic. Heath, can't wait to see you on Thursday, buddy, and much love. But this next item on here is going to be an interesting item, guys. I'm going to go to the card, to the camera for Seth. This is a dual-signed TNA, cross the line, Samoa Joe, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him at the time. On the card it says Mick Foley, but those boots say Cactus Jack all day long. And what we have to tell you, what we have to warn you, is that we did not acquire the Samoa Joe autograph. So that will not be authenticated by Highspots. You were taking a risk on that one. But I can tell you that we authenticated the Mick Foley autograph right before the show. I asked him very politely and very nicely if he could do that, and he said in his nicest voice, "I will gladly do that for you." But he doesn't. He does have a. He asked me why he got put in a 2-pack with Samoa Joe, and So I'm gonna come over here. All right, so. Oh, man!
Daddy,
Oh.
Nobody wants to hear about that whole boring Mick Foley. It's all about dude love. Let me tell you something, Daddy. You can auction this off or just throw it in the trash. That's what I would do if I was you, which I'm lucky I'm not, because when there are 4 faces of Foley on here, the eye is automatically drawn to dude love and the hippest autograph in the land, Daddy. I'll be out here at a certain time signing, styling, thinking of a rhyme other than profiling, but that's what I'll be doing, Daddy, because the dude will be here all night long, and then at 8 p.m., some of my finest personal items from my memorabilia. And I just met a lovely young lady. Come on in here.
Oh.
Her name is Noelle, Daddy.
Yeah.
She calls me Daddy.
Or is it Freddy Krueger?
Whoa, look at that
Mask?
mask.
Yeah.
You see this mask?
Looking good, my friend. And I am right. Of all the 4 faces, now I might be your dad, but if you had to pick a face which was the hippest, which one would it be?
It'd be Dude Love.
Dude Love. Mankind, highly overrated. Cactus Jack, been living off a few reputations of matches from 25 years ago. It's Dude Love who only holds up today. The only one not making money off the things he did in the past, but instead of the things he's doing right now in the present day, Daddy. Ow, have mercy.
Oh, that's
Thank you,
great,
sir.
Dude Love.
Thank you. All right, well, you guys saw the amazing drop in, the hot tag from none other than Dude Love,